and welcome to High Rollers, special solo adventure edition. I am your humble Dungeon Master, Sherlock Mark Humes, and I'm only joined by one member of our regular party this week. Say hello, Kim.
Hello.
I can't leave Trot till last like I normally do.
I know.
So, for those of you, you still see-through.
I'm not that see-through.
We had a bit of an issue of Kim being very see-through.
My downstairs area is see-through. It's alright, it's fine.
So, as you've probably guessed, we don't have our regular complement of players this week. Trot and Katie are both at a wedding, and Matt deserved a weekend
Lazy.
off.
Oh.
She's horrible too. Like, cruel boss. Just cracking the whip.
I'm not.
Edit that, edit those videos, edit that Flux Bunnies.
He's on holiday next week.
He is on holiday when you're on
Because
holiday.
I'm on holiday
Exactly.
next week.
The only time you get to climb off is when Kim's off. So it's just the two of us this week. We're going to be doing a short solo adventure with Juto, actually. We'll be finding out what's going on there.
I don't know what's going on.
You have no idea.
have
This
no
is the
idea.
best. And then I'm going to be doing a D&D Q&A. So on the break, I forgot I left my questions upstairs, so I'm going to get those on the break. And then I'll be taking questions from chat as well. And we'll do that a little bit after we've done our little solo thing. But first, I wanted to say we've got one quick thing to do. Big thank you to Wizards of the Coast. I'm going to get the box in a minute. Big thank you to Wizards of the Coast and specifically Greg Tito, because they sent us a whole bunch of stuff to go with our new giveaways that we're going to be doing. So this one might be a bit rough because we're still figuring out the best way to do it. But what we're going to do is every 50 subscribers, we are going to pick somebody. We're going to pick one of the subscribers. And they get a bundle of minis, a Wizards D&D t-shirt and some stickers, and they will get sent out to you. The reason that it's subscribers rather than donators is because I want donations to be just from you guys, about supporting us.
From the heart.
Exactly. Like, I don't want it to just be you want to win stuff.
Competition.
Yeah, exactly. But I figured for the subs, that's a really great thing. It helps boost the Yogscast channel, but it also shows that people really love High Rollers, and it gives us a bunch of incentive there as well. So we're going to be doing that. So I have a box here.
It's quite a big box.
This big box of stuff
box.
that they've sent. I'm going to take it down. So in here we have a load of stuff. So let's move this.
Oh my god.
So we have things in here like we have t-shirts. So we've got some t-shirts in here. Many t-shirts. So these are all Wizards D&D ones. I think this is one is actually for you because that's the small.
Really?
That's a lady's small.
I
have got
small
some
lady.
more. I've got some more for us specifically coming.
I should really wear this today because it's not as transparent.
It's not as transparent, so there you go. So we've got a bunch of these t-shirts. They've also sent us more stuff, some of which is for me, some of which is for fans.
Oh, that's a cool Dungeons
check
and
this
Dragons
out.
too.
Check this out. Young green dragon. You want to fight this?
No!
Well, too bad, because you might have to.
What?
That's that. That's for me.
Not on my own.
So you can open that. This is a minis booster box, so you get a random selection of minis, like me and Trot did. So you can open that.
I can open that now?
Yeah, you can open that now. Yeah, we'll include those in the
allowed?
giveaways. Yep, we'll include it. So we've got these stickers. So they've sent us so much stuff. I'm gonna save this.
Oh, it's
I
so
wanna show you that.
cute.
Oh, is it?
It's the worst. My only enemy.
So there's like a bunch more stickers. We got a cool patch, like a Dungeon Master patch. I might put that on like a shirt and start wearing it.
Nerd.
They've also sent us, and I'm going to do a specific giveaway for these, maybe on social media or on Reddit. They've sent us a bunch of books to give away.
God, I need those.
So you don't need these. So we've got a Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master's Guide, and a Monster Manual. So this is the three kind of core books if you want to start playing. I'll do a very special giveaway for those. They also sent us
Oh my god.
Out of the Abyss, which is one of their campaign modules. So they sent us that as well. So we'll be doing a cool giveaway for those. And the way it works is for today, when we get to 50 subs, lovely Steve in the office, in the studio, he is going to pick a winner from those 50 subs, and you'll win some stuff. So let's put all these shirts back.
I have a
What do you think that is?
hyena.
A hyena.
Hyena man.
That is a knoll. This is a knoll.
Is it a hyena? I thought
Yeah.
wolf at first, but it looks hyena.
No, it is a hyena. Knolls are based on hyenas.
I have a lizard thing
Oh, this is cool.
with many legs.
Oh my god, that is what is that? A basilisk.
Basilisk.
A basilisk. It's pretty cool. I have a dwarf here. I have a shield dwarf fighter. He's pretty cool.
I need to free this guy from his
Oh, what is that? That was pretty
plastic
cool.
prison. It
It's
looks
got like a little
a...
stand and stuff.
Oh my god!
Can you do it? Have you done it? Don't break it. Special gift.
That'll make, if I break it, it'll give value to it.
Sure. Yeah, that's how it works.
It looks like a griffin.
Oh yeah, that is a griffin, I think. Oh, that's really cool.
That's awesome.
Yep. So there's a griffin there as well. I might steal that because that's really good. Right.
You can't steal it if you're giving it away.
I can steal things that I think are cool, like
Oh my god.
this was sent for me. This isn't to be given away.
This is not going anywhere.
Because you're gonna hate this.
Oh no.
This is an ancient silver dragon that they've sent me.
No.
Yeah. So
Is this what you're unleashing today in today's solo
Yeah,
campaign?
sure. Yeah, you're gonna fight an ancient silver dragon
Oh my
single-handedly.
god!
This is huge. This
On
is
my own.
fucking
It's got
brilliant.
tags on it. Be careful. Don't break it.
Don't break it, Mark. So
Is it a blue-eyed white dragon?
well, I'm proud of your Yu-Gi-Oh knowledge there, but no, it is not a blue eyes white dragon. It is a ancient silver dragon. But I'm probably just going to use it as any color dragon because it looks freaking awesome.
Oh my god. I just got my little thing there, and then he's just gonna swoop in with his big oh hi, I'm badass, and then, oh I'm gonna eat you.
It's got like this really badass stand as well. So
That is cool.
check this out. So
I don't want to fight that. Can I not just ride it? Can we not just be friends?
Maybe.
Can we not just be nice, friendly people?
Nice friends.
Yeah.
Please, dragon, be friends.
Yeah.
Right, that's probably not on there properly, but I'll figure that out another day. But yeah, so there you go.
That's that's how I kill Torwin off. Just like try and make her be friends with the dragon.
What are you talking about? I'm playing Torwin next week.
Yeah.
You don't get any choice in how I kill her. I mean, as she plays. So, yeah, no, that's fine. So huge thank you to Wizards for that. And in fact, actually, some other cool announcements with Wizard stuff. Kim and I are going to be doing a podcast with them, so we don't know when that's going to come out yet. So you and I are going to be on the official D&D podcast.
Very honoured to be asked.
Which
Thank
is
you.
very, very cool. And also, this is very exciting for me. I don't know how much I can talk about it yet. There's no details confirmed yet. I'm just penciled in. But I might be a guest character in their D&D stream. So I might be appearing on the Wizards D&D stream.
Congrats!
Obviously, thank you very much with Chris Perkins, one of my favourite DMs of all time. So so we're going to be doing that. I will keep you posted on what's going on with that, so you guys can tune in and watch as well. Their stream starts, I think it might be this week actually. It's the 8th of March, and they're playing the new Curse of Strahd campaign module, which is really, really cool. Trot and I are very excited about that. And yeah, so I will do some links on social media, and so you guys can follow that and check that out as well. So yeah, huge thank you to Wizards for this cool stuff.
Very generous.
And,
Your support
yes,
is
very
amazing.
appreciated. And yeah, and we'll be passing all this stuff on to you. And from what I've heard, they're going to send us more stuff that we can give away. Yeah, they're going to send us more
my
stuff.
God.
It's fine. Let's
What
pop
did,
this.
what did you do to get this kind of the favour of the gods?
Well, I just said, hey, we do this stream and people seem to like it. Can you send us free stuff, please? And they
And that worked.
and they replied and said, yeah, Mark,
Yeah,
sure, that sounds
sure.
great. And yeah, they just sent us that. So big thank you to Greg Tito, who was the man who organised all of that.
Sort of wear this
along
like
with
this.
Greg Bilson. So I'm going to set this up a little bit. So,
Oh, secrets. I want to.
secrets.
I'm not gonna look. I'm gonna
So, for those of you who are not fully up to date, a couple of sessions ago, Juto
Oh, here we go.
met her end at the hands of 2 suits of animated armor
It wasn't even cool.
inside a hidden vault.
Could you sell it a bit more than that?
You
They were
brazenly
evil, like,
and
no,
brashly
no,
rushed
no.
into danger,
Can you try?
refused to get help, and started a fight with something you knew was clearly magical. I'm not going to sell it, and there's going to be more of that to
Just
come.
make it mildly
No.
heroic.
It was you put up a valiant fight, but were
Didn't
knocked
even get a
down
hit off.
and had no. When you got one hit off, you did get one hit off, but was slain. And unfortunately, due to some very unfortunate dice rolls, Juto died. Here's the cool thing about D&D and RPGs in general. That doesn't mean it's the end of the character. And in fact, the PCs, the other characters, Cam, Elora, and Chelamar, all went on a new quest, on a new storyline, to go and bring Juto back to life. Their adventures were last week. They went into a elven spire, and they've investigating these kind of strange fey orcs. There's a very messy corridor full of dead orcs and all sorts of funny nonsense that went on. But what's happened to Juto? That's the question everyone's been asking. What's going on? Is she coming back to life? How's it going to work, Mark? Well, you'll find a little bit of stuff out today. And we've already hit 50 subs.
Hey!
So, wow, thank you guys. So Steve's going to pull a name for the winner and contact them in Whisper. And if we hit another 50s, if we get 100 subs, we'll do another. We'll do
We have
another
so
prize.
many things to give
That's
away.
it. Like we've got, and this is going to include all the mini packs that Trot and I opened. So I've got like, I think you get like 6 minis of random minis that I've assorted, and you'll get a t-shirt and a bunch of stuff as well. So wow, thank you guys. I think that's the quickest we've hit 50 subs in ages. So
If we get to 3,000, we'll give Trot away.
yeah, exactly. No, let's not say that because that could happen. Like that could
But
absolutely
then we
happen.
get rid of Trot, and
No,
our
I
lives
like
would be
Trot.
well.
No, we need
could
Trot.
probably agree, like maybe we get them back at weekends.
Yeah, like
and they can have them for the week.
That's horrible. It's a horrible thing. But anyway, so back on with the D&Ds. Yeah, everyone's been asking what's happened to Juto, and you will
I'm really nervous because ever since you said solo adventure, you put your little like mischievous DM face
What are you talking
on.
about? I don't have that
And then
face.
I was like saying to you, do I need to prepare anything? I'm like,
Nope.
you don't need to prepare
No,
anything.
no,
And
I-
then just stroke your little beard. Like,
Yeah, and it's not going to be too long. I reckon maybe 40 minutes to an hour, and then we'll
Okay.
take a break, and I'll do the DM Q&A.
What if I roll terribly today?
Well, maybe you don't need to do a lot of rolling,
Okay.
but maybe you will.
Okay.
Who knows?
Can we first of all dispel this myth that I'm coming back as a dragon?
Yes,
though?
let's
Like,
dispel that right now. It's a really cool. I have seen a few people say it, and a few people have made the point that it would fit the Fae theme, and you know, it's a Fae spirit that's going to bring her back. Maybe it makes sense. I'm not going to do it. Maybe if it was a player casting thing, maybe if it wasn't a character I knew Kim really cared about, who has like a very set thing, I might consider the idea. But I've come up with what I think is to be, and this is going to be when you guys find out how Resurrection works in my homebrew campaign, it will make a lot more sense because I've come up with a system that will apply to all characters. So regardless of situation, regardless of race, regardless of backstory, this situation that this system that I've come up with will apply to everybody, and it will mean that you don't have like really bad penalties, but there will be a consequence to dying, and it will make you want to be cautious in the future. Let's say.
This is terrifying me, by the way, because
Yeah.
he keeps on every day this week. He just looks at me and goes,
Consequences.
consequences. And because I've never, done anything like this before, I've never experienced a campaign where I've
You
done
don't
it before.
know.
Like I have no.
You're
It's
in the
wild.
dark.
Yeah, I'm in the dark, and you don't help with your mischievous little like consequences. Just walking past each other in corridor. Consequences. And I'm just like, no, please, no.
But no. But well, why don't we begin the journey of finding out what's
I'm
going to
so
happen
scared today, Mark. I'm so scared.
Well, try not to be too scared, because at least there's one thing: when you die in D&D, you can't die again, can you?
Oh, don't do that! This has been him for the last 2 weeks.
No.
Or can you? Or can you?
Can you? Do you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think the thing is as well with this whole death thing is that if it had happened to Juto and we were far further into the campaign,
Absolutely.
I actually
would have
been like, yeah, okay.
If it was, and
'cause,
here's my thing as well. Like, if it had been, I don't try and kill PCs. I try desperately not to because I think that it kind of stalls the game a little bit. But if it had been like, let's say we were like 10th level and you're fighting against a bad guy that you've encountered a number of times, he's a bit of an arch nemesis, and it was a cool fight, maybe not even the final fight, just a cool fight, and a PC goes down, maybe things would be a bit different.
Yeah.
Maybe it would be a lot harder to go on this quest.
I think
But
it would
so
tell a
early
better
on,
story.
Exactly.
like,
I'm
whereas-
all about the story. And this is a good opportunity to have things diverge a little bit, but it's one of those things. But anyway, without further ado,
Let's tell a story.
Juto awakens. You actually wake up kind of almost from a sleep, but it doesn't feel like sleep. Almost as if you've kind of snapped into a certain reality, a deep inhale of breath. And you are in a place that is very different to the last place you remember, which is a stone, a vault-like place with these animated armors attacking you. The place you now find yourself in, you have the strong smell of grass and wildflowers. You can hear strange animal noises, kind of birds that you've never heard before, and there is blazing sunshine on your body. And as you look around, you find yourself in a large field of vibrant and virulent blooming wildflowers, just covering this whole glade, this small opening in a large forest. And as you look around, you can see that the trees on the outside of this glade are wild and huge and just seem very otherworldly. And looking around, you also notice that things like the sky is just this vibrant, brilliant blue, and there is just something very strange about where you are. And obviously you remember that this is not where you were. What is Jiutóu's initial thoughts?
Confusion, anger, always that anger. Yeah, just utter confusion as to what has happened. Where is this place? Why is everything too bright?
As you start wondering these things, the weather, which was blazing sunshine, just almost in an instant seems to change, and a terrible howling wind just blows through this forest, picking up flowers and pollen and the leaves, and you almost have to duck down as this wind just whips your clothes and strikes your skin, and then almost as quickly as it came, it goes, and the weather returns to a blazing sunshine. And again, as you have this kind of confusion, you look around, what is this place? You can see a group of what initially you think of are winged humanoids. They look like people, but with these large white feathery wings drifting over the forest tops, and you can see them drawing closer and closer to you. Give me a quick perception check, actually.
Oh my god, I'm rolling. Please not a 1.
Oh, well,
Natural
hey,
20! Where were you?
Kicking things off to a good start. You kind of in your confusion, you're ready, you're quite alert for any potential dangers. You snap your eyes up and you can see these creatures in more distance. You're going to shield your sun from this blazing sunlight, which actually you realise you're not quite sure where it's coming from. There is no actual sun in the sky, it's just sunny. These creatures seem to be, they're very clearly elves. You've seen elves, you've seen Allura, you've seen other elves before. They are clearly elves, pale skin, long ears. Their eyes are, rather than having like a pupil, they are just one blazing colour of light, and it seems to almost faintly glow. They wear leather armour, they have like loose tunics and spears, and they have these large feathery wings coming out their back, and they float down. As they begin floating, one of them seems to be a leader who has like a metal breastplate, kind of think very kind of Greek hoplite. It's got the melded abs onto it and stuff like that. He's kind of got like a headband and a loincloth effectively, and he actually has a sword and shield. And he almost seems to be pointing at you, and you can see the group now kind of swoops in a lot closer. As they draw in, you now see their features more clearly. You can see that their leader is a male elf. He has kind of like short cropped hair, slightly curled, has quite handsome looking features to him and face. And he looks down and he's just like, men, something from the infernal plains has appeared. And they all start readying weapons. It's a demon from the 9 hells. And they look like they're about to swoop in and attack.
I'm gonna draw my Guandao.
Okay, so you kind of pull out the Guandao and you ready yourself into a stance. If that's the case, then we're going to roll initiative. And we're going to need to share that pencil.
My pencil broke. Stupid, cute pencil.
Mechanical pencils, man.
Where is my perception? 12.
This was in initiative.
Oh, sorry.
It's top.
Top. Yep. Sorry. 14.
14. Okay. So he's going to do that. Okay, the guy in the breastplate, he swoops down and draws his blade out. He swoops down with a shield ready, kind of in a diving arch, and he goes to swipe at you with this blade. He goes to strike you, and as the blade passes through your form, it just passes through you. There is no blood, it doesn't hit you. You kind of go to dodge the blow, but he kind of nips underneath your defensive stance and just cuts along your sort of your abdomen and just whoosh, and he kind of startles and stops, and then he kind of holds up a hand and he's like, men? He's just he puts the sword away. He's just like, who are you? Where are you from? He seems to look at you questioningly. Just drop the only pencil that you have.
No! Stream is cancelled.
Stream is cancelled, there we go.
Okay. So before I answer him, I'm just gonna be confused, looking down,
yeah, it should have hit you and cut you, but
what I should be.
Yeah, it should have hurt at least.
Yeah.
It was going to be like a cut across the abdomen, but
Okay.
it just kind of passes through you.
My name is Juto. I'm a tiefling.
One of the other elves who's flying, he's just like, Tanos, I've heard of these. They hail from the material plane. It's just like, the material plane? Well, Juto, I'm afraid I have, well, bad news either way. You've either been sent here by magic, or I'm afraid you're dead. This is Arboreal, one of the celestial planes. It is where souls go when they are not prepared.
No.
He says, the other option is that you may have been sent here by magics, but either way you aren't trapped here, unless you know of a way to return.
No, I was in a vault. There was a suit of armor. It was magical, but I don't think it had the power to teleport me to another plane.
Then I'm afraid that it is the latter in that you have died. Some souls, especially those with courageous but perhaps wild hearts, sometimes find their way to Arboreal. It is not a common place of rest, but some do find their way here.
This isn't right.
I'm sorry.
But I had things to do. I had tieflings to free. I'm not dead.
I can only offer my condolences. My name is Tanos. I am one of the Avariel, sometimes known as the Light Elves. We gifted the power of flight. I lived in this plane all my life. I have encountered a few mortals who have arrived here, and your form is of similar nature. I cannot harm you because your spirit is all that is here, not your body.
What do I do? What of the elf I was with? Elora?
I do not know this name or of what may have happened to your companions. There is perhaps one way I can help. He points to the distance, and you can see rising over the forest canopy. There is a mountain, and it seems to be very chaotic. It almost seems to be split into 4 quarters, each one with a different elemental theme. So one seems to have lava and gouts of flame, one seems to be made completely of snow and ice, one seems very sheer and rocky, and the other one you can't really see. Atop that mountain there is a mystic woman. I believe she was at least once mortal. I do not know if she still is. She is quite powerful in the elements. She may have answers for you. I can assist you in finding your way there if you wish.
Thank you. I would appreciate that.
Very well, I will remain here. Men, and he points to them, he's just like, lead the way to the elemental mountain. I shall accompany there on foot. This is not, report back that this is not an infernal incursion. And they're like, yes, sir. And they all fly off. And he's just like, and you can see he's sort of like, well, come this way. The wilds of Arboreal can be dangerous, but it should not be too strenuous, I believe. It is not far to the mountain from here. And he leads you through it. I'm guessing that you just follow this guy, or do you want to take a moment? What does Juto do?
I want to take a moment to look around and just, I don't know, look down at myself, because...
And to you feel real, but,
yeah.
You know, if you test it in any way, like trying to pick flowers and stuff like that, your form does just kind of whoosh through them. It is very much as if it is your spirit is here, but your body is not.
I want to try and touch Tanos, like just hold my hand up to him and just... And I can't, I don't know, it's confusing and...
Mm-hmm. He just kind of looks at you with this very kind of... There's a very stoic kind of warrior spirit there, but you can see that there is some empathy as well. Like, you know, this guy's probably not a bad guy. He does seem to genuinely be sorry for your situation, but he doesn't know you, so he's just offering what help he can. But he's just kind of like, he doesn't say anything to you, like trying to touch him or anything. He just kind of lets you have this moment of contemplation.
So I'll follow him.
Okay.
Probably in silence, as it's too much to take in.
He, as you go through, like, you have no difficulty navigating the forest because, like, you come to a log and you start going to step over it and you start doing that. And he kind of casts a curious glance back, but after a while you realize you don't need to. You can just walk through trees, you can walk through any kind of fallen debris, like the physical world here doesn't actually affect you. But you do notice some things. You can feel the sunshine, you can feel the wind on you. It's not as if you are completely incorporeal, or completely just not there. There is definitely ways that it can affect you in some form. I'm just dropping...
What is up with you?
I'm dropping everything, ruining the moment. as you walk through this large ancient forest, Tanos kind of takes the moment almost to try and take the awkwardness out of the silence. He kind of goes into a bit of guide mode, and he kind of talks a little bit. I do not know how much you know of the plains. Arboreal is sometimes not often frequented. It is a realm of wild passions. Courage and anger here are as common as, well, joy or fear. This is a place of valiant heroes and dangerous beasts. And this is where my people have existed for a long time. Many elves are from here, in fact. Elves are said to be the people of passion, whether it is music or art or battle. They are people of true emotion and heart. He kind of seems quite proud when he talks about his people. But he kind of just does this. He points out several things as he goes. You do see some creatures, but they seem to kind of ignore you, mainly because you kind of get the suspicion that they don't really know that you're there, and also he seems to be as part of this world as anything. But the animals here are very different. Like, they're very large. Like, the deer are the size of horses. You know, animals seem freakishly huge. They seem very, they have extra antlers. They have, their colorings are very unusual. They're very fey-like in appearance. And after about, say, an hour or so, you actually exit from the forest, and you are at the base of this very tall, not the tallest, but a tall mountain. And you can see up it, and you're currently standing more towards, you're kind of split between two of these quadrants. One which is all very vertical rock look facing, and one which is fire, and it has pools of lava running, rivers of lava, jets of flame occasionally burst up, and things like that. And he gestures towards it, and he's just like, the woman, she lives at the top of this monastery. I have not, at the top of this mountain, I have not had many dealings with her. The mountain itself protects her in a way. The elements are very strong here. I think even in your form, you should be cautious. They can transcend some of the realms between death and life. But I hope that she can help you, Juto of the material plane. And good luck in your adventures. And he kind of gives you a nod and gestures the mountain, and then his wings unfurl, begin to flap, and he takes off into the air. He kind of gives you one last glance, kind of looks down, and then just flies off with a bunch of his men that come and meet him. And you are faced between, these two halves of this very strange mountain.
Oh boy. Are there any creatures about? Can I see any?
No, around this mountain, no, they seem to avoid it. You're kind of exited from the perimeter of the forest quite a few, maybe a few, half an hour back and things like that. You're now literally at the base of this mountain just looking up. It rises up very, very high. And there's definitely, you can sense, being split between these two quadrants of the mountain, you can definitely sense that there's a shift in energy between each of them. It's almost as if each kind of quarter of the mountain rests on some other sort of source of power, perhaps.
Well, I guess after kind of looking around for a bit and taking in, I start to climb.
Which side? So the rocky-looking one looks like it will be more of an actual physical climb, like having to crawl up of it, like actual mate climbing. The fiery one, there are paths, but a lot of them are crossed with these large pools of lava. There are these erratic gouts of flame that burst out.
Well, I'm a tiefling. So I will go up the fiery side.
Okay, so you begin making your way up the fiery side. The temperature rises, and again, despite you not being able to interact with the physical realm back in the forest, you can feel the heat here, and it does become quite, you're a tiefling, you're used to hot weather, but there is like a jet of flame kind of bursts next to you, and you almost feel like it almost burns you. And you kind of make your way. What I need you to do is I need you to make me a... Where did I write them? I wrote them somewhere. Oh, there we go. So you need to give me athletics check as you're kind of like jumping across these large pools of lava.
15.
15. You kind of leap over them with ease, and you realize you kind of test it a little bit by trying to move a leg or a foot near it, and you actually don't think you could pass through it, not unharmed, but there's definitely a sense of it sapping your energy and making you feel quite tired. But you jump over it and you kind of overcome that. And the next thing is I need you to give me a dexterity saving throw. And as you're making your way up, you're constantly having to like dodge out of it. So dex saving throw, yep. So +5.
19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
So, despite the kind of like the overwhelming heat, these jouts of flame occasionally just burst from the ground, almost seemingly at random. But your agility and your senses are trained enough that you quickly spin out the way. And even if one does catch you being a tiefling, it doesn't hurt you too much. Just kind of like burns a bit away, and it feels hot, but not dangerously so. After a couple of hours, you actually make good progress, leaping across the pools with ease, dodging these gouts of flame that doesn't slow you down, and you make your way all the way up to the top of this mountain. And as you reach there, you arrive at the very top of the mountain, and it turns into a large plateau, which again is kind of very much split into these 4 quadrants, each with different elemental themes to them. One seems definitely more volcanic, one seems much more earthy and rocky, one has small piles of snow as if like a gentle layering of it, and the other one just it's very mossy and natural. There's a howling wind constantly kind of bursting up and down it. But in the middle, amongst all of these buildings, seemingly at peace, not affected by any of them, is a large wooden monastic-looking shrine. It's somewhat similar to the one that you trained at, but there is definitely differences. Things that you don't recognize, symbols that you just have never seen before. And it has a small garden, there is a shrine with like a burning fire, there's a small kind of like water, constantly kind of tipping with water, kind of bopping to and fro as water dripples into it from a natural looking rock, just like dripping into this thing. But sitting on the very edge of this mountain, at the very tip of it really, just looking down to a terrifyingly steep expanse, just hundreds of miles into the air, just literally right on the very edge, is she appears to be a human woman. She has dark skin. It is wrinkled, but not heavily wrinkled, just it has age to it. Her hair is dark brown, but going slightly grey, and it's tied into a front braid. She's facing away from you. She wears very loose-looking clothing. She's sitting in a meditative position, and she has large prayer beads kind of around her neck, and she's just kind of sitting there quite peacefully. And as you kind of go to forward, and even before you actually say a word, you just hear her kind of like from beneath. She just goes like, "Ah, I was wondering when you would arrive, Juto." And then she kind of stands up on the very tip of her toes at the very edge of this mountain, and then just almost as if on a cloud, she just turns around and looks towards you. She has a very aged but still quite graceful looking face. You can see that there's kind of a slight kind of like almost like a tribal makeup over her forehead with a single kind of coloured dot in the middle of this intricate lattice pattern, sort of like almost like a crown, but it's actually a tattoo. And you can see a similar kind of thing all the way up her forearms and into her hands. And she's just like, "Welcome. I'm sorry that you had to come here on such confusing circumstances."
It seems you have the honor of knowing more about me than I know about you. May I ask your name?
Of course. I am Master Guan Yin. Well, that is one name. I have many, unfortunately, in many different worlds. But you may call me Master Guan Yin. Come. And she kind of steps away and she's like, "Come into my home." And she starts entering the small shrine. You can see she kind of parts these wooden doors, and there is like a basic home in there, a camp mat, small table with bowl, and very basic essentials effectively. Whoever she is, she obviously lives here in very, there is no wealth, there is no sign of wealth, there's no money or anything of value. It's simple, what she needs, and that's it really. And she invites you in. She sits down in a meditative position and she goes, "Well, I suppose we should start with your questions more than anything. I'm sure you have many. Please, ask away."
So I'll sit down next to her in a similar pose, similar to
cross-legged.
when I was in the monasteries when I was younger. Master, I guess my first question is, are you mortal?
That is a very difficult question. The answer is not as simple as I would think. I am mortal, but I am not immortal. I do not age, I unlikely will die, and I have great power. But I am not a god. I cannot do godly things. Instead, I have found the power that I have and this extended lifespan and the ability to shift between worlds through peace and meditation.
Can I ask, how did you arrive here?
I arrived here in Arborea, I have arrived perhaps a few decades, not much more. I came here to test myself. Arborea is a realm of passions and emotions. I came here to be at peace and to test that my emotions would not get the better of me. And so far I have been successful. It is a place to test myself. I have been to many other places. I have been to worlds that you cannot imagine. I have been to different planes of existence, all of which seeking one great thing, inner peace. And I have yet to still find it, unfortunately. But I hope to one day.
What are you?
I am human. I am just a warrior and a traveler and a philosopher and many things, but I am a person. And I am hoping that perhaps I can be somewhat of a teacher for the brief time that you may be here, or the long time you may be here, depending on how things transpire in the material plane. I should explain a bit more. She brings out a bowl of water and she kind of casts her hand over it. And you can see now, almost from a third-person perspective, you inside the vault with the stone walls, the gate, and the animated suits of armor. And it's replaying the last few things you remember from your memory. As you may have guessed, Juto, you have deceased. Your spirit has entered this realm because there is nowhere else for it to go. You are not at peace enough to join those on Mount Celestia, which is where many of the good-aligned or peaceful creatures go. But you are not evil. You would not go to the Nine Hells or the Abyss or such places. You are a being who is in chaos, who is led by emotion. So you have been brought here. That is where your spirit will reside for perhaps eternity or perhaps not so long. The reason I show you this, and she shows you as basically the animated suits of armor just pummel Juto into the ground, and it's very brutal to watch. You experienced it, but as you didn't really feel it. It was just like you were down. You can now see how brutally these things hit you. You see Elora's wolf form in panic just desperately scoop you up and just run, taking a nasty hit from one of the armors as it flees up the stairs. And then the armors kind of reset, and the image on the water shifts, and now it transpires as it follows Elora rushing back to Tallfield. You see Elora's wolf form kind of shift the body onto the floor, and Cam, looking over it, you can see him very upset, very emotional. You see him praying, and then he kind of almost, in a dramatic change of personality, he just scoops up your body and just starts walking out the door, and the others follow him almost instinctively. Like, they don't argue about it, they just follow. The image then fades away back to water, and she's just like, and then Guan Yin just turns to you and says, "Your companions, I suppose that they would call you your friends, but I know that is not a word very common with you. They are seeking to bring you back to the material plane, but this is not an easy task. They have been tasked to defeat quite a powerful being to do so. It is unknown to them at this time how powerful and how much danger they are truly in, but they are risking it for you."
Why?
Well, that is a question I cannot answer, I'm afraid. I know many things, but I do not know the hearts of others.
I want to say at this point, Juto is probably feeling very, as well as the confusion, but in seeing all of these images...
The visions, yeah.
Yeah, especially seeing her own death, I feel like her initial reaction is anger and embarrassment and a deep shame, because obviously, it's quite clearly her fault, because she didn't listen to Elora.
Yeah, you know that, because you remember Elora saying to you kind of...
But at the same time, it's a deep shame that
she doesn't want to admit.
She doesn't want to admit, so being the headstrong person she is, she's going to blame other people. Like, I wouldn't, why would they go to this effort? I mean, maybe it's because they feel guilty, because Because I shouldn't have gotten messed up in this human drama to begin with. I knew I should have left. I should have left them behind after that initial capture. I shouldn't have followed them to this tall fields, and I should have left as soon as they showed interest. I knew I shouldn't have done this. I should have continued on my mission.
She just sits there, completely peaceful. I imagine that probably at some point she stands up and she's kind of, Juto's probably like standing up and releasing all of this vent, and at no point does Guan Yin even blink effectively. She just kind of sits there calmly. She lets you get it all out of the system, and she just lets you carry on. And then once you finish, it's kind of just a case of like, she just looks at you and it's like, I do not believe you think that to be true.
It's their fault, though. If I hadn't stayed, if I had left, I would be on my way to the capital, and that hag wouldn't have shown me what I thought I had locked up, and I wouldn't have been angry, I wouldn't have been out of control, I wouldn't have even ended up at that vault and let my stupid...
And at this point, she just kind of like reaches out, puts a hand on sort of your shoulder, and she's like, Juto, they did not make you go into this vault. They did not make you fight these creatures. Until then, you had been doing good. You had worked together. You had accomplished great things. And I will show you the effects of those in time. But they did not make you do these things. What made you do these things is because you believed yourself to be better. You believed yourself to be more powerful than you are, that you did not need these humans, this elf, this drow. You did not need them to help you in your quest.
That's because I don't.
But you do. Otherwise you would not be here. And she just, there's not any accusation in her voice. There is just peace and knowledge, and she's not accusing you, she's not blaming you, she is just telling you the truth. And I imagine it's obviously a hard thing for Juto to hear.
Yeah.
But she just kind of says, let me show you something. She waves her hand over the bowl again, and this time it shifts, and you now see Trell, Cam, Elora. They all look in pain, they all look exhausted, and you can see them in a dark underground, it looks to be some sort of temple, and they are fighting desperately against a powerful looking being, muscular humanoid of kind of green magic, with this fully closed helm and these giant horns, with beast-like legs, with this horrid looking longbow, just this ancient gnarled piece of wood with these huge arrows like javelins. And they're desperately fighting against it. And she shows you this and she goes, this is where your companions are now. This is what they face to bring you back to life. Not because of guilt, not because of shame, not because of anger, but because they care. Because they do not want to see you fail. They do not want to see you fall. They wish only for you to rejoin them. And this is what they push themselves through. And I know this is hard to understand. I know that anger and frustration are things that easily come to us, especially in times that we do not understand. I have been there myself many years ago. But how to put this? Juto, you are fire. You are everything that fire is. You are strong, you are powerful, you burn brightly. But if uncontrolled, you can destroy so much around you, including yourself. And that is what has happened. Through your quest for vengeance, through seeking retribution for the slights, the horrid misdoings to your people, you have ignored the plights of others who are also suffering. You have pushed yourself into situations that you cannot handle. It is lucky that you survived as long as you did, and it is only through the acts of those that now seek to bring you back to life that you have succeeded. I do not say this in harshness or in blame, but only to help you learn. You can master fire. You can control it. You can be its owner, but you must learn to control it within yourself at first. Let me show you something else. I have spoken much of your failures, but perhaps I should show you of some successes as well. She waves a hand over the bowl again, and the images now shift, and now you see Tallfield, but you definitely get the sense that this is after whatever is happening with Cam and Trell is going on at the same time. And the town looks completely different. Like, you can see that the buildings are being improved, you can see that there are new people coming in and buying houses on farms, people are growing new things. You can see the Marshal, Calvin, is training all the guards, but properly this time. They have proper equipment. They're properly learning, like, regimented, like, how to behave as proper military force. You can see Finney, like, the tavern is full and bustling, and there's so much going on. And it kind of, the last thing you kind of see is Barris is strapping on what looks to be like chainmail and breastplate. And Dana hands him a beautifully crafted sword and shield. And he straps it on proudly, and he leaves the gates. I get really emotional about stuff. Don't worry about it. I cry at books. I cry at films.
It was Barris, man. You had to mention Barris.
Barris, man. But yeah, so you see him leaving the gates, like, full of inspiration. And she looks at you and she's like, you have done... When you left to seek vengeance for the tieflings, that is all you cared about. Freeing your people. A people who have been done great injustice. And it is a valiant cause. It is a noble goal. But by following it so blindly, you ignored those that you may have helped. But look what happens when you do. You and the 3 that you traveled with have made a difference to hundreds of lives. Now there will be new families, there will be new business, this town will flourish, and in time perhaps become a great city.
But now
one young man has been inspired to begin his own destiny.
But now I've put them in danger.
They have put themselves in danger. You must understand this, Juto. And how shall I put this gently? You do not control their actions. They have made this decision. They have not done it because they owe you. They do not do this because you told them to. They do this because they wish to. They do this because they care. The Drow, perhaps not as much as the other 2. I will grant you this. But he does it nonetheless. He goes with them because he wishes to see you return.
But they only knew me a couple of weeks, and I was not the easiest companion.
No, you were not, and I am glad to hear you say this. It does me well. It shows that you have the capacity to learn and see the faults that you have made. You were unkind, perhaps even at sometimes cruel, especially to the one who fights most to bring you back. And the image shifts and you can see Cam. And actually you see him in the image. You see him in the kind of the golden-haired form that you've always seen him in. You see him now as he truly is, a form he does not even know himself. This human is not, well, you call him human, but that is not what he is. He is more than human. He is a remnant of Pelor's light, and with him, great things will happen.
What a strange vessel for Pelor's light.
Oh, I am well aware of this. And she kind of like, she's just like, yes, but he is not the only one. There are many like him. He just does not know it yet. Yeah. There is something in his history, something I cannot see, that makes him the way he is today. Much like you. He is shaped by his past. And as I said, your goal is a valiant one, but to undo the suffering of your people, do not ignore the suffering of those that you may come across. By doing so, you do more than just avenge your own people, but make a difference in so many lives. And I will tell you this, Juto. Killing Korak, this Dragonborn, it will not bring you peace.
How do you know?
I have known many things since you crossed into this realm. I've spoken with your previous masters. They told me of when they found you and what you suffered. And all I can say is, I have known many people who have sought revenge. I have known many people who have wanted to avenge lost loved ones or people or even kingdoms. And when they did it, it did not ease their pain. Only through inner peace can you find that.
But you talk about me inflicting suffering on people. You must know of the suffering Korak has inflicted on thousands, hundreds of thousands of tieflings, of people the world over. He may be a leader now, but he was not always one. He was not always noble.
And that is something that you must bring to light if that is your mission. I do not disclaim that. But are you justice's hand? I am not to say. All I know is that it will not bring peace to your heart. But you are to go about your quest as you see fit. And if your companions are successful, if they return you to the material plane, you should travel to Talisvar. And you will learn more there than I think you may perhaps realize. Your destiny begins there, but you will also be part of theirs in traveling to it. I believe that you and these companions are somewhat linked. Your destinies match up. There is a spiritual connection between you. But anyway, there's something else we must discuss. Your training. As I said, you must master fire if you are to control it, to control your anger. It is a great weapon. It is something you can use to fight enemies, to fight those who bring injustice and strife and pain into this world. But not until you master it. I can teach you. And she opens up her palm and flame just kind of erupts in her hands. And she quells it, and then in her other hand, a small whirlwind of wind just kind of like comes out. She closes her other fist again, rock begins to form all over it, and then in the other one, she kind of like draws water out of the bowl, almost as if drawing sort of like a string. She kind of like then puts it back. These things I can teach you. Well, begin to teach you. The rest you must learn on your own. First, we will master fire. But I have one question for you, Juto. If I could summon this Korak, if I could bring him to this world, and you could fight him here and now, would you do it?
He must pay. He killed my mother and father.
And you believe you are ready to face him?
No.
That is a very good answer. Very well. I was going to test you to see if you were ready, but it pleases me to hear that you acknowledge that in yourself. We will begin your training. You will master fire, and when you return to the material plane, if your friends are successful, you will have its mastery, and it will be yours to command. Go to the capital of Talisvar. Go there. Face Korak. Tell him of the injustice. Learn what you can. Reveal his identity as you see it. And then you will find your next master who will teach you the next element.
Oh God.
Okay, well, that's pretty much about an hour, so I think we'll wrap that up there, because I don't want to do any more crying.
Jesus.
Because I get emotional about stuff. Fuck, it was Barris. He got me.
It was Barris,
It was Barris, he gets me. But I've got a plan. There's a plan. Because it's all because they didn't take their reward money. That money's invested in other things.
I've got one last question as Jiutóu
right.
to Guan Yin.
Okay.
Master, can I speak to my companions? Can I speak to Alora, Camp, Trell? Can I send them any help for the battle that they are about to face for me? Anything, a sign.
You cannot speak to them. Even my power cannot allow that. If you were physically here, yes, but from your spirit, because of it is only your spirit here, I cannot. A sign? Meditate with me tonight. Think of them. Think of their situation. Send them your aid through your energy. Perhaps it will make its way.
Thank you, Master.
You are welcome. And she kind of gestures off to a side room, and that's where we'll wrap things up on that. And yeah, we'll see the effects of what that might mean next week.
Oh, man! Why you gotta do this to me?
I know. Man, I'm so glad. Oh, you sure you didn't want to fight Korak? I had stats for him and everything.
Really?
Yeah.
You want to do this? You want to...
No, because you made your decision. But if you had said, like, I fucking want to fight him now, I was going to be like, right, let's go. Let's roll listed. Like,
that's why you have a Dragon Ball.
That's why I had Dragon Ball Mini ready to go, just in case.
Soz. I wasn't in the... Guan Yin just destroyed Juto, though. She made her realize what an ass she was.
Yep.
You took all the fight out of her.
Yep.
She's just standing there,
Peaceful.
Ugly, crying, like,
yeah,
you know.
Like, the worst person ever.
Well, I felt like in that moment, like, have you ever had an argument with someone, like a partner or something, and you know you're wrong, you know you're really wrong, and you got yourself in this situation,
Yep.
but you will not admit, like, you know, that you were wrong and you were the cause of this, and you're getting all angry, but you're getting angrier because you know
you're
you're the cause of your anger. That's how I felt with Juto then. Is like she know, even though she was saying all those things about,
she knows that it's not.
Yeah,
it's
it
not
was her. It was
yeah,
perfectly
it's
her fault. But
no, I am one of the most stubborn people in the world, and I have definitely had at least I can remember in my mind one argument with Nina where I knew I was in the wrong and I knew I was being an asshole. But I just couldn't let go.
Yeah.
And I remember, because and this is true for me, if I'm ever getting stressed or if I'm getting angry about stuff, I go for a walk, and I would just walk until I don't feel that way anymore, and then I come back. And this was like 1 a.m, and I just got up and I left. I said, I'm going for a walk, and I left off, and I think I walked like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I got to the end of it, and I went, I'm such a fucking asshole. I walked all the way back, and like she was still up, and she was upset, and I was just like, I'm so sorry. It's completely
just
my
sheepish,
fault. I just and I just,
yeah.
you know, completely just laid bare and said, I'm a complete asshole. And I must say, I think me and Nina, that's the only fight we've ever had in 6-7 years we've been together.
Yeah.
So, like, you know.
But I think that's how, for me, that's how Juto felt at that moment, was just so angry, but getting angry and angry and angry. And then just like, when she realized that Guan Yin was just not there to fight or to judge, she just... You know, it just went. All the fight just went, and it was just silent, ugly crying.
Yeah, there was a bit of that. There's a bit of that here as well.
Oh, Barris, man! I'm glad to hear about Barris, though. I gotta make this.
I was gonna like save the reveal. Well, there's still a reveal to come, but I was gonna save like a big thing for like much later on. But I thought, you know what? This is a perfect opportunity for Guan Yin to show Juto what she can accomplish when she does help.
Yeah.
Because, you know, at the end of the day, Juto was pretty much the one in Tallfield who saved the fucking day most of the time. Let's be honest. Like, most of the time, it's you and Elora. Like, it was Juto and Elora, the main ones who actually did stuff.
Yeah.
Trell was like, I'm the moody drow, I'm dead. Cam's like, I'm fucking Buckland, lol, lol, lol.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, so, I'm golden, I'm normal, I'm golden, I'm normal.
Exactly. So, like,
ooh, woman.
You know, so I think, like, it was such a good opportunity to have that come in, and he's such a, because I know that like everybody around the table loved Barris, and I was like, he would like, after what he did, like a lot of stuff makes sense for him to then go on and do his own thing, and maybe Barris will show up again in the future, maybe.
Spoilers.
So yeah, it's not too much. I think like it'll be a while. So yeah, we got some fun stuff. But yeah, so that's what's happening with Juto right now for those of you watching. So that's kind of like what Juto's been up to while the guys have been doing their own quest.
Yeah.
You are away next week.
Next week, unfortunately, yeah.
So we're going to finish off all the stuff with elves. I'll probably play Torwin for a little bit. But we will also have a Mr. Martin Littlewood's going to join us. So we're going to have our first guest. It's going to be Martin. He's got a cool character we made today, actually, before you turned up.
Nice.
So we made his character today. And yeah, he's going to be playing, I think, for 2 weeks. So he'll be around when you come back as well. So you get to meet him as well.
When?
No, when?
After we've been through all this, dude.
Unless all 4 of them die next week, which is very unlikely.
After the story you just spun me there about the huntsman, Jesus.
I thought that was really cool as well. Like, I love no specifics, but like a bit of foreshadowing of like, yeah, they've got to fight something pretty fucking tough. And do you know the nice thing? I don't think any of them are going to watch it, so they won't know.
I know, right?
So as long as you don't tweet them about that. Don't tweet Trot, Katie or Matt anything about that. Just let them find out. And if they do, it doesn't really matter.
Arrows. Oh my god. I'm glad I'm dead.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you, mate. I'm going to do a Q&A. I'm going to quickly run upstairs and grab my thing. So if we can do like a 5-minute break, Steve, is that cool? And then I will literally spend 2 hours answering your questions about D&D. The way it's going to work is the priority of questions goes like this. Donations with questions, top of the list. Questions on our subreddit, questions from Twitter, questions from chat. So that's the way I'm going to do it. And if I run out, I'll go all the way down. But yeah, so, you know, guys, I know it's just the 2 of us, but if you do want to donate, that is really appreciated. Subs, it looks like we're doing really good. I don't know if we've had more after the first 50. I'm sure Steve will let me know. But yeah, if we can do a 5-minute break, Steve, just while I run up and get questions and get some more water, you're going to head off?
If you want me to stick around, I'll stick around.
You can stick around if you like to.
Nothing else to do.
Yeah, if you want to stick around and answer some questions with me, we can do that. I think there was a couple which was like, you know, what's the inspiration for people's backstories and stuff. So, or if not, it might just be fun to chat shit.
Yeah.
So.
Or just learn your DM secrets.
Well, that as well. Yeah, you can learn those as well. So yeah, all right, guys, I'll be back in 5 minutes. Hello, welcome back, friends. I've dried my eyes, blown my nose, and we're gonna do some Q&A.
I'm still crying inside.
Just like the pain.
You made me feel emotion.
I think Kim was saying to me that we reckon that, like, you know, people will be like, oh, it's quite sad, like, yeah, yay for Juto, but probably most of the hashtag and chat is going to be full of about Barris. I've created a monster. What have I done?
Yeah, right.
We're going to quickly read out donation messages, and we'll update these as they go, just in case there's questions, and then I will start doing Q&A stuff. It's quite a lot of questions. This is just what I printed off. There's like pages of stuff. Yeah. So let's quickly do the donations. I'm not going to read out the message from you, Nightjar, just because you said about not reading it out, but thank you so much for the donation.
Thank you.
Lots of love. Hope things
Love.
turn out so better. Marlfish, so happy to see the stream after having to miss the last two. You all make my week. You make my week every week. Much love. Thank you very much. Bam goes TNT. Hooray, you're here. Happiness everywhere. Have a flower, maybe a white lily for Miss Jing, though don't kill me, Kim, please. Do you want to read some, or shall I just bang through them?
I can go. Red Warrior 83. My first game was yesterday. Oh, Steve! Stop scrolling, Steve! Okay. My first game was yesterday, as I told you last week, and my luck sucks. First, I was captured and imprisoned by orcs. I escaped with my group into a basement, landed in poo, before getting attacked by toddler-sized spiders. Oh well, loot is worth it. Man, that is worse luck than me.
Amazing. Landing in poo. Crazy Burger Hotline. First time watching live. I've been binging on D&D content because of you guys. Shout out to the High Rollers subreddit for helping make my first character. Awesome. Thank you guys. Yeah, the High Rollers subreddit is really good for newbies. If you've got questions, we had like a big newbie question thread, which was really good. Really, really lovely folks in there. Zero the Duke. Another vote for Dragon Ball Juto. It's not going to happen. We've said we're likely to get a ghoul cult. What with all those ghoul cultists? Maybe trying to resurrect a giant frost mage to preserve their rotten bodies. P.S. Kim's still the best. Pray for Juto. Cam should stop doing that. Yes, that was because of all the minis that we got out of our unboxing videos, which we still got a couple more. Trot hasn't had time to edit the other ones yet.
Maybe I'll come back as a ghoul cultist and rise with my ghoul armor.
Rise from your grave. Love the High Roller streams. They're the best lead up to my D&D games in the afternoon. Thank you so much for your wonderful content. Thank you very much. Sailor Solar. Hey guys, first time oh my god, this is going to be too quick, isn't it? First time watching High Rollers live. I love all your characters more than Cam loves his daggers. You guys give me so much to look forward to, and even though it's a small donation, I want to show you my love. Thanks to Stay Awesome. No, any donation is amazing, and we really appreciate it. You don't have to do it, but you do it anyway. Thank you so much.
Wolfie Kid of Doom! Didn't they donate last week? They did. I remember the Doom!
Most people donate every week, which is amazing.
I have some money left over for my Mother's Day's gifts. Take it!
We're like your RPG mothers. Think of it that way.
Mother of RPGs.
Neldazor. Sorry it's such an odd amount, but I wanted to donate as my PayPal is finally working again, and I wanted to congratulate you on this amazing stream. Sad I can't get to see you guys at Insomnia as I have MCM a week before, but loving these streams. Well, don't worry, friend, because there's plenty more events to come and see us at. We've got Gadget Show, we're going to be at the MCM Londons, all the usuals, so don't worry. Lil Lappy, I'm already subbed, that's okay, I'll just throw some more money at you, I'll keep donating this stream every week, love you guys, Mark is a cutie, well, thank you. Cutie. Yes, that is actually something we should probably I will figure out a better way to do the giveaways, sorry guys, I will figure out a system of doing it so we reward everybody, all the subs maybe.
Because we want to reward you all.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like, I want it to be a good reward for everybody, I just need to figure out a good system, and I'm dumb. In true Sips poll fashion, I am dumb. Go on.
Cool. I elect Juto to come back not as a Dragonborn, but as a little babby Juto. Kappa.
Babby Juto, an interesting one.
I'd be useless in every fight.
What
do you do, Juto? Craps. Pants.
Craps pants.
Falls
cries,
asleep.
Falls asleep. Wants food.
Doing this really stealthy mission in Orc Camp.
Yes, the High Rollers subreddit, by the way, is r/HighRollersDND. DND. The other thing you guys should go and do as well, as thanks to that big box, is go and follow the @wizards_DND and tweet at them and say, High Rollers sent us. Go and do that, because that'd be amazing, and it's a good way to show them how awesome we are. So do that.
Legit awesome. You missed Bam Goes TNT, Steve. We didn't read that one
out.
out.
We didn't read that one. Go on. So I'll just dropping all the things. That's how it's meant to be. Just don't drop the ball, Mark. Do not drop the ball. One day I'll be as lucky as you are and fulfill my life goal of playing D with Mark as GM. Oh, thanks, man. That really means a lot.
Wolfie Kid of Doom again. Donating for the Yogscast pencil fund.
We have more pencils. I just didn't bring
Mine
them down.
broke.
I have loads.
It's such a cute pencil. And
Draz also donated and
so...
said, buy more pencils. This stream has become more amazing with each episode. Thank you for the entertainment.
Stupid pencil.
Just Jason McRae, just a little donation for the pencil fund. God, these are all from like 5:30 as well.
Are you guys like...
Alright, I'm just going to bang through these because I want to get to the questions.
Bang it out.
Demonic Jester, thank you for your donation. Hey guys, just wanted to ask if you have any cool tips for a first-time GM. That's a question! Ding, 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 I can answer a question. Right, there's going to be, so probably in all of my answers for like the stuff that came from Reddit and Twitter, there's going to be a lot of tips for new GMs. The biggest one I can give is don't try and plan too big. If you're a new GM, start small. Build a town. Build some points of interest. Make some NPCs that are interesting. Give them little plots, but like no more than 5 bullet points per thing. So like NPC, give him a few bullet points. Location, bullet points. Boom, 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 boom. Start small, because what you don't want to do is create this big epic continent and this epic storyline, and you play with your friends, and they're like, nah, we just want to own a tavern, mate. And they start running a tavern, and suddenly the evil wizard that you plan to invade the world isn't going to matter because your friends just want to sell beer and kill goblins, you know.
I'm going to suggest this.
50 more subs! Oh my god, thank you very much, guys. That's another donation we'll do. Steve will sort that out. So yeah, there will be a lot more tips as we go along. Copy de Pasty, who donated again, another big donation as well. Jeez, Copy de Pasty, thank you so much. Good luck, Kim. Can't wait for you to rejoin the party, even though your temporary character is also badass. Mark, what is your favourite, most recommended map building software? Loving this adventure so far. Do you know what? There's a lot of good map building software out there. I couldn't name any of them because I don't use them. I just draw it in put it in Photoshop, and then I just make it in Photoshop. Like the continent map that we have for this world, which I haven't actually shown yet, I don't think. I think I've shown a little bit of it, but not the full thing.
Seen it.
No, it's just done in Photoshop. There's a really good couple of guides out on YouTube on how to do fancy maps. That's what I use. And in terms of actually like playing mats, I mean, you can buy nice ones. I just draw them really basically. Like, I try not to make them too big. Mega dungeons are really boring. But yeah, just, again, just don't use it. The community Fire Lord approves that you choose the fire side. So there you go, from the community.
Did you worry there for a second that I was going to go for the rocky side?
No. I knew exactly what you were going to do. Because
you were trying to make it like really as well. Like, the rocky side is really difficult to climb up.
Yeah, but you would have made climbing checks to go up it rather than doing like the deck saves and stuff like that.
What if I'd chosen rocks then?
Yeah, it would have been fun. There was 2 other sides you could have gone to as well, like I described earlier.
Lazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Lazy.
Mendari, love you guys in the stream. It's inspired me to get into D&D, living the roguelice. Also, have you guys ever heard of Sentinels of the Multiverse? It's my favourite game, and I'd love to see you guys play it or hear what you think about it. I have heard about it, but I don't think I've ever played it, and I might be wrong. I'm thinking that's the superhero one. I've not played it, really sorry. Definitely in the future, this is a question which I think a few people have asked as well. Maybe when this campaign is over, we'll play a different genre. Maybe we'll play a different campaign setting. I quite like... Oh, it is... Thank you, Steve. Steve, who is also a big RPG player. He plays a D&D, which would blow your mind. It's so different and complex and crazy. Oh, you want to pick the lock? Well, you have a 15% chance to do it. So you roll these dice, and if you get this number, then you can... an AC, yeah, the lower it goes, the better. Yeah, so Steve is hardcore. But yeah, so maybe we'll do other stuff. I really like 5th edition though, and also Wizards might send me more stuff that we could play. So maybe as like a one-off thing, like maybe if we start doing extra streams, I might do that.
Ooh.
Mr. Zixhill, thanks for creating great content. Hope to see more High Rollers D&D. Mostly can't make it to live streams though. Hashtag Yogs Live. Watch it on Yogs Live, man. It's all matters. As long as you're watching, I don't care. Do you want to read some, or should I just keep...
Some Sofido. Hey guys, loving Juto's solo story so far. 2 quick questions. 1, will tonight's donations be split between the whole High Rollers team, or just you 2? 2, will the others get a second wind if they die, or do you think they'll get to play new characters? Okay,
so the first question, at the moment, it's basically, the money all goes into Yogscast. We're currently talking to Terps about how we want to do stuff with that.
Yeah.
You know, it's always been planned that this is in our spare time. We play for fun. As like, you know, I would run this game in my living room. We're just running it here in front of cameras instead.
Very small in his living room.
Very small.
Very cramped.
It's not. My living room's really nice.
Smells.
It doesn't
butts.
smell. You trying to tell Nina that her flat smells?
Actually,
you don't want to do that.
Actually, I am sat in the live stream room, and this does actually smell more like butts than your house does.
Exactly. So, so at the moment it all goes to the Yogscast, but it is all supporting, and it helps us like rub it into
Pays
that
for
space.
Steve.
That's the main thing. Is it pays for Steve? It pays for minis. It pays for like terrain. I'm gonna buy some more Dwarven Forge with it and stuff like that. So it kind of goes to the stream itself, but not us directly.
Yeah.
Because we're doing this in our own time. But yeah, we're going to figure something out. Second question, will the characters get a second one if they die? Well, let's find out. You will learn more about how death's going to work when they actually resurrect Juto.
I'm still scared. I don't know what's going on.
Exactly.
He's another week of consequences.
Yeah, I just don't want to spoil it because I think it's going to be a really cool reveal. So I don't want to spoil it. So, but good question. Crazy Burger H. Juto is learning the way of the 4 elements. Seeing your own death must be quite dramatic. Good thing it's Juto. Hardcore. She's pretty hardcore. She's a hardcore lady.
I ain't got no time for this.
Ain't got no time for that. Blaine Kerrigan. Big donation. Thank you so much. So nice to hear that High Rolls pulls in more subs than the other Yogs. Such a great example of roleplayers get behind their own. Long may it continue. Absolutely. Terps is lovingly, jokingly salty about it, but he does, he's very cool about us being awesome.
Yeah, he's very supportive.
He's very supportive. But yeah, it is amazing that High Rollers has done so well. I don't think any of us expected it to be this big, this quickly. So it's really amazing, and it's all thanks to you guys. So thank you very much. Blaine goes TNT. I'm not crying. You're crying. Damn it, Mark. How dare you? My womanly tears were meant for cutting onions, not D&D. Also, this is amazing. You are both amazing. The role players. Love, all the love, all of it.
Oh, man.
Thought Dusk was supposed to sleep, ended on a feels train. How to deal with these feels? On a Monday.
On a Monday as well.
Singapore time zone. Thank you very much for watching and staying up. Well, have a donation. Pencils.
Singapore represent.
Yeah.
Malaysia.
Malaysia. L'exhibitionist. Hey guys, not tuning in today because I've got a dinner date. But so excited to see it on Yogs Live. Always love that I can be part of making something that I love come together. Thank you so much for a big donation as well. Scrolling up. Mendari, donating once again to contribute to the High Rollers Tissue Fund. Maybe next week we can get everyone in tears. Manakar laughter. Also, Mark, I just say spoilers? I'm going to be stressed out all week thinking about it. Well, you're going to have to find out and see, won't you? Draz donated again. Thank you, man. Got something for the dust in the office. Looks like you were tearing up.
Yeah, it was very dusty.
No, I'm not even going to go with that. Like, I was tearing up. Like, I'm not going to lie.
It's because I was about to cry, and then you started crying, and I was like,
and because you were doing it, it made me worse. It was a cycle.
And then you said Barris, and I was like, oh, Barris, my baby.
It looks like we weren't the only ones. Noctis Mori, you awful, awful people. How dare you make me cry my own tears. Thank you for inspiring me to start on my own campaign with my own crew. That is my favourite thing to hear. Every time I see that in the donations, or I get a tweet about it, it is literally my favourite thing. So if you are starting up a new campaign, tweet me, tweet the High Rollers account. I want to hear about it. I want to hear about your characters. I want to hear about your campaign. I love it. Ace of Thorns, fantastic stuff, Kim and Mark. So happy I could be here to see it. Hugs to you as well. Stormcaller 3801, very cool as always. Thank you very much. This is 8. This is 8.
Yeah.
This is 8. For Barris, thank you very much. Candid Arachnid, thank you so much. Candid Arachnid does loads of cool stuff on arts and stuff as well. Geez, guys, so many emotions. A question for Q&A. Woo woo! Any tips for how many smaller plot hooks to dangle in front of players? I don't want to railroad, but also like the players to not lose track of the big story arcs of the campaign. Thanks. This is a really tough question, and you know what? It's actually something I struggle with myself. I have found that if you dangle just a couple of side things, that's generally okay. The best way is to kind of follow video game logic. If you're sending them to a location, add some sidey quest plot stuff that's nearby. Get them going that direction. Keep them moving. I think that's my biggest thing, is like, always let the players feel like they've got something to do. Never let them stagnate and feel like, well, what do we do now? You know, I've played in a few games, excuse me, water's making me burp. I've played in a few games where it's kind of like, what do we do now? But you've just got to keep that momentum going. So even if it does deviate a little bit, just put something near your big plot hooks. Drive them towards it. That's the best thing. No question from me. I just want to promise you will keep Barris safe, Mark. I swear to Evandra, if that boy dies, I will be so upset with you. It's not up to me. It's up to these.
I hate it when he does
this. The dice.
I hate it when he does this all freaking week.
It's never up to me.
Shut up.
Do you want to read some? Because like
From Lei Junyan, Juto's gonna be Avatar. Oh my god, I can't wait. Maybe. It's
Avatar,
up to the die. Just doing a you there.
Yeah, I got that. Thanks. I got that.
Noctis Mori, donating again now I've recovered to ask, do you practice voices for characters beforehand or do they come naturally during the game? Have a big cast next week and I'm struggling to get voices down for the main NPCs. Thanks. Kiss, 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 hug.
Oh man, I'll be quite honest, I don't practice voices. I am notorious for talking to myself. I talk to myself in the shower all the time. I might try out voices then, like just to kind of see how it sounds, but I don't say I practice them as such. I mean, because I used to do voiceover for like commercials and I've always wanted to do voiceover for games and animation, I've always just been good at doing voices. Yeah. So a lot of them just come naturally to me. Like if I have to come up with one on the spot, I normally go to kind of like one of my, I guess I'd call them like showreel voices, like voices I know I can do quite well. Kind of like, yes, my orc voice, or things like that. Or no, even, I'm not going to put Solid Snake in it, but I do.
Do your snake voice though.
Shadow Moses, Colonel, what are you not telling me?
Steve wants you to do Welsh.
Oh Christ, hang on. I have to do Dragon Age Welsh though, because it's like, oh hello, I'm Meryl from Dragon Age. Oh, it's very nice of you. How is that? I don't know if that's Welsh earlier. Did I do Welsh earlier?
Well, no, it'll be bad.
It was a bit like, Welsh and Indian as well, so it was a kind of mix.
He was trying for Indian.
It was a mix.
A little Welshy Indian.
It was weird, is what it was.
It was weird.
What I would say is if you do struggle, if voices don't come to you naturally, just play around with your voice. Try just doing things like different tones. Speak quietly, speak deeply, kind of speak from the chest and the diaphragm.
Use the diaphragm.
Use, like, if you have to, like, pinch your nose and kind of talk a bit nasally and do things like that. Just play around with it. Hello! It's me! I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons! You know, that's just high energy. But that's just me, like, straining, like, very nasal, but I'm putting a lot of strain on the chest. And then you've just got to have that high energy. But I also, like, I do dumb stuff, like I hunch my shoulders, because that helps you kind of get into these lower voices and things. Yes, hello! So you can do stuff like that. And just practice. That's all I'm going to say. Sorry, that was the long answer.
Okay, from Naturoparas, hi Tristan here. I run a campaign, The Order of the Dragon, homebrew, and it goes well. Only I always feel insecure that I left somebody out or they don't have a good time. Any tips? Love you for this amazing stream.
Tristan, welcome to every DM ever. That I have not come across a DM who doesn't walk away from a session going, I wish I'd done that. Oh, I should have done that better. Oh, what if that player didn't have a good time? I hope that they enjoyed it. I've come away with that every session, especially with, I think for me, it's always more with Elora and Trell. Matt's come out a lot more, but like initially Matt was so quiet and he was still learning. And I would always feel awful. I was like, oh God, Matt's not having a good time. I need to give him more stuff to do. But I think it was just like he got into it and now he just does his own thing and we can run off that. But yeah, I always feel that way. There's no easy way around it. Just speak to your players. Just say, hey guys, was there anything I could do better? Did you enjoy it? And if they say yes, take their word for it and just keep playing. That's all I can say.
So, Demonic Jester 44, Mark, have you heard of the Pazio Pathfinder rule set? If so, what do you think of it compared to 5e?
Hey, I do know it, and there was a really good Humble Bundle recently. I don't know if it's still on, but if it is, go and pick it up because it's really good. I've never played Pathfinder. I know my buddy Matt from Critical Role has. He really liked it. I know loads of friends who play it who like it. It's probably very good. I just don't know anything about it, unfortunately. I've never played it. But yeah, sorry, I'm a 5e guy.
Steve, can you scroll down a little bit,
Scroll down a bit, please.
Mr. DFP. Hi guys, lovely stream. Mark, I'm also one of those people who cries at films, books, Dungeons & Dragons, character development, etc. No real questions, but do you think now is the appropriate time to start shipping Juckland or Buto?
No. There is the very
just
simple...
because Juto is gonna start feeling some goddamn emotion that isn't angry does not mean she's gonna wake up and smooch the face off of Cam. It ain't happening.
Also, just like it's not Juto. He's not his type.
I think this is the thing as well. Is like I said this before. Is that so many people are keen for Juto to fall in love and have a romantic interaction with anybody in this campaign, and I really don't feel that she has any space for it. And what I mean is, that doesn't mean that Juto is incapable of showing love. I'm a great believer in, like, you know, the ancient Greeks had a kind of thing about there are so many different kinds of love.
Yeah.
There is love of a partner, love of a god, love of your parents, love of
your
people.
fellow soldier,
yeah,
stuff like
you know,
that.
things like that. And I feel that she can show love for her companions, as in Cam, Trell, Elora, as in that deep kind of companionship, friendship, guardianship, but I don't think she needs to show romantic love. I don't feel she's particularly the kind of character who would be interested in showing romantic love, and I don't think Cam would be that interested.
I think the problem is that Cam's character, the way that Trott plays him, is he is a open, like, he's very loving in the sense of, like, he wants to love everybody because he also wants everybody to love him. And I think that comes across like, you know, he's this charming, like, hey, I'm the funny guy.
Yeah.
Because you kind of got the opposites attract thing. Like, I think people see that. And look, I get it. Like, and people can think about it as much as you want. Yeah. It's just not going to happen.
But it's not gonna, you can ship it as much as you want, but as far as I'm going to play it,
and that's it. And that's not to say that there won't be romantic stuff in the game.
Yeah,
like there could be with NPCs.
Exactly.
Like there could be with anybody. Like I know that Trott's character, like there is potential for some stuff in his background.
Exactly.
You know, but it's just not between those two particular characters.
It's just not going to come right. And I really, as well, I don't like this kind of very Hollywood stereotypical thing that a strong woman has to show a softer side through love, like through falling in love with someone, or like having a romantic
friendship.
Like I think you can show a softer side by friendship and companionship rather than like she doesn't need a man to validate her existence, is what I'm saying.
Just general kindness to other people.
Exactly,
like helping other people can show kindness, you know, and show a softer side.
Yeah.
But anyway,
there we go.
That's on that one.
Oh, you missed
sorry,
one.
Steve. Yeah,
Steve,
can you scroll down a bit?
Scroll down, please.
If someone was to start listening to a certain 200 episode long podcast, where in that podcast would be a great place to begin? Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. If you're talking about the official D&D Wizards one, blimey, not sure. I really enjoyed the Penny Arcade Acquisitions Incorporated plays that they did. They were really funny. It's amazing watching new people come into the game, but generally a lot of them are talking about products and stuff like that, so just pick and choose. That's a nice thing with podcasts, you can just pick and choose, really. Go on.
Angelus Lucius, wow, Mark, that conversation with Juto was beautiful. You truly are a master DM. Keep it up.
No, thank you though, that's a very kind compliment. But that's just, you know, it was just having a good player to roleplay with, that's all it is. The Minute, hey Mark and Kim if she's around, just want you guys to know that I find the D&D campaign to be more entertaining than most of the TV shows I watch. I mean, seriously, dem Barris feels. Mark, how do you come up with the scenarios in the campaign? Honest answer, they just kind of pop in my head. Like, this stuff with today, I had a vague idea of wanting to do, but like stuff with the Averial, the Flying Elves, came up with that this morning, was just like, that'd be cool, write that down. And a mountain made of 4 elements. She's going to be learning Way of the Elements. That's pretty cool, write that down. A lot of it just comes to me, like, I think a lot of it comes from, you know, I read a lot of fantasy, I watch a lot of stuff, and just generally, like, I read the books, I read the DMG and get ideas from that. But yeah, I think ever since I was a young kid, I've had a really active imagination. You know, I'm the type of kid who, I had to go and spend a lot of time with my grandparents because, like, my mum and dad were working really late, and, like, I would just be in their garden or in, like, the local field, and I'd play by myself. I'd just, like, come up with, like, friends and, like, go on these epic quests and stuff. It sounds kind of weird, but that's what I did. Like, that's, you know, a big part of who I am. That's why I wanted to get into voiceover.
You're
that's
a very
why I wanted
imaginative
to do stuff.
guy, I will say.
Like, yeah, that's it. Like, that's been something I've always had. So, but if you do struggle coming up with scenarios, feel free to, like, look at, like, TV shows or anime or you know, video games and kind of go, that's a cool idea. I did a campaign before this online. I did a whole adventure based on The Last of Us. I took the idea of, like, the cordyceps and the overgrown city, and I did, like, a whole, like, 5-session long adventure about it where like they were kind of like having to go through, and I made enemies that were like clickers, like they could hear sound.
I hate those
yeah,
clickers.
exactly. So like they hated it because, like, the way I would describe them is like, yeah, if you make noise, they can see you and they're gonna come for you. And they were horrible. I made them particularly nasty enemies, loads of damage, high hit points. So they were so cautious about sneaking around, and like they were trying to throw stuff, and it was great. So be inspired by stuff. That's fine. Take things and use them to your own advantage. Lex Richards, don't worry, your ale mugs will come. I may have a job soon and will be able to afford a lathe to make them. You inspired me to make D&D character even though I don't play. Congrats on being a mom and dad to Alita Taladian, a monk of the 4 elements. Wow, thank you. If you're sending us mugs, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Don't stress yourself and don't spend money you don't have. Just send us to it when you can. And also, super cool to hear about the D&D character. Thank you. Hawk Initiative. Just wanted to say that I am loving your RP, Kim. It's awesome to see people have really committed to get into their characters.
Thank you.
Mark, have you had any experience with Shadowrun or other modern near future games? If so, could you recommend any looking at? The only one I know is Shadowrun. I've heard it's very good. I've played a little bit of it, mainly in computer games. It looked really cool. Seems really cool. Check it out. I've not played it. I can't recommend them, but sounds really good. Crazy Burger H, 3rd donation of tonight. Jeez. Are guests going to be a regular thing? Really hope it will be. This was a question I got a lot on Reddit, on Twitter as well. Yes, I want guests to be a regular thing. They're not going to be like every week, but I want to have like Martin plays for a couple of weeks. We play as normal for a couple of weeks. Maybe Terps plays for a couple of weeks, or Smith, or whoever. Kafka, yeah, Kafkas has expressed interest. I've spoken to him. It's just a pain trying to organise stuff because we're trying to organise other stuff as well. But like Kafkas might come down. I've got friends outside of the Yogs as well. Like I know a few of you who watch Critical Role. Kit Buss, who does their artwork, who's been on one of their streams. She's a really good friend of mine. I'd love her to come in and play Lilith maybe, or like play a new character. Like have her come in and do a guest stream. Like just open it up. I want this to be, you know, almost like it's a Yogs thing, but it doesn't have to just be Yogs thing. So yeah, that's that question if you're asking. You want to answer some? I'm going to drink some more water because my voice is going.
That character development. Great job, Mark, with the story, and Kim with the RP. Thank you. Dire Danish. Hey guys, I love the stream and everything you guys are doing. I'm always excited for Sundays. Keep up the awesome work.
Thanks. You.
Jaderos. Oh, another regular. Lost track of
mod as
time
well.
and missed the first hour. I'll have to catch up later. Excited for the Q&A. Everything will be on Yogs Live VOD as well if you want to see Juto's adventure in the other world.
In Aboria.
Aboria. Meta Manu. New month, new donation. I love that mini session. So good. I don't play D&D, so I don't have a question. Keep it up. Love you guys.
Thanks, man.
Love you too. Dancing on Fire 7. Really enjoy. Oh my god, a big donation. Thank you. Really enjoying these streams on Sunday morning here in Colorado. Gives me a reason to get up at a reasonable time. You guys are all amazing, and I wish I could do more. Will there be more giveaways in the future? I'll resubscribe then.
Absolutely. We've still got a bunch of stuff to give away. We've done 2 tonight. We're gonna, hopefully we won't hit any more, otherwise I'm gonna run out of stuff a lot quicker. But yeah, there's gonna be more to come. Like I said, Wizards are more than happy to send us stuff to give away as well, which is really cool. So top on that as well. Molefish had to donate again after the fields. Barris for King of the World. Yeah! Silenced Hands. I'm mostly just donating for the hell of it since I've learned a lot about GMing from watching, but I might as well ask, how long do you spend preparing for an per hour of GMing? So this was a question I got from Delta Cascodian on Reddit as well. Exact same question. It varies. I always try to spend, if there's like an upcoming session, I will almost always do 2 to 3 hours of just prepping stuff. So that will be like drawing out the maps, reminding myself like, okay, so who are they? Right, okay, what's going on this time? Right, orcs. Okay, so make sure I've got my stats for orcs. Right, what are the main things I want to accomplish in this? 5 bullet points. Bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. Here are some cool descriptions of stuff. Or, oh, I had this cool idea for a trap. I'll write that down. I will generate treasure in that instance as well, work out all the encounter XP, stuff like that. But yeah, about 3 hours per session. And then in terms of the wider world and like things that are going on that maybe the PCs don't see, I'll just do that in my spare time. Like I've got a Google Doc that I just update when I get like a free 5 minutes. I'll just be like, yep, this happens. Or if I get a cool idea for like a dungeon, I'll just write notes in it and then I expand on it later. So
do you like sometimes when you get inspiration, you just think, oh yeah, this would be cool. You kind of add it and then like maybe flesh it out later on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like I have a Google Doc which is just ideas.
Yeah.
And like I might have like, I mean, the whole very beginning of this campaign, that adventure in the underground elven temple with the dryad and the blights, that was just a random idea I had years ago. I was like, oh, blights are cool. I never see them being used. Blight dungeon, maybe have like an evil dryad, and I just wrote that as an idea. And then when I was coming to write the Lightfall campaign, I was just like, actually that would work as a good opening adventure, and I set that up and I wrote that. And so yeah, so I just have those ongoing, and then sort of I normally spend about 2-3 hours, probably normally here in the office before you guys arrive.
Yeah, you always come in like
I
super
come in
early,
and I'll just draw the maps, plan everything out, and then just run it. So yeah, that's pretty much how I do it. So
okay.
Jay Shay, totally missed. Shani88, big donation. Thank you very much. Have some money for those fields. Cam is Palor's penis confirmed. Okay, I see what you mean. Barris for president, absolutely. Jay Shay, totally missed the stream due to the fact I got addicted to an iPad game. Oops, good thing for the replays. Yeah, check it out on Twitch if you're a sub, or watch it on Yogs Live. Yin Yanger, love the development of Juto today, getting someone to make 3D models of you all. Juto is the first one I'm getting done. I hope you look forward to it, Kim.
Thank you, so I am looking forward to it. Thank you.
Big donation as well. Negligent Money. Just like you guys to know, you have helped me create one of my favourite characters in 5e, a tiefling warlock who follows Hastur, very cool, who has a personality like a more psychotic Cam Buckland. That's scary.
Yeah, that's terrifies
really scary. It shall be fun. It certainly will. Thanks to you guys. Thank you very much. PBR Dowdy. Good evening, Mark and Kim. Kim, you have done some fantastic RPing, and Mark, you've been an amazing DM. Thank you so much. You guys have made this something I have to tune into every week. Quick question, Mark. You are a fantastic DM. Thank you. What D&D podcast would you suggest? Top one, always, Critical Role, Geek and Sundry on Twitch. They're what inspired me and Trot to get this started. Matt's a good friend. He is the praise Lord Mercer, God of DMs. Seriously, he's the best. Check that out. Other ones that you might want to check out is Crit Juice, if you like a bunch of dudes playing D&D as a drinking game, getting really drunk and being really rude, but really funny. They're a bunch of American improv comedians. I've not laughed so hard as some of their episodes.
They must be even more reckless than I am.
No, they get so drunk because they get companies to send them beer, and they have no. So listen to this, Kim. They have this thing where at the beginning of the game they roll a d6, and that's how many drinking rules they add on top of their normal drinking rules. Their normal drinking rules is natural 20. Take a drink.
Of course.
Natural 1, take a drink.
Of course.
They have a thing where if you spend action points, which is a different thing, you take a drink. And then they have this, and then they get drinking rules submitted by fans. And they roll for those, and they get wasted, and it's really funny. So check that
How
out.
are they not dead?
Other one, D20 Babes, which is Curtis Veeb, who is the writer for Rat Queens, which is really good. Check that out. Those are the only ones I can think of right now. Check those out. They're really good. Oh, man. Bam goes TNT again.
Again?
Is it hard? Oh, sorry, Steve. Can you slow down? Sorry, I don't think he notices because it's it changes. He's watching other stuff. Is it hard not to stop a character you really like from doing something really stupid as a GM or hinting too much? I imagine you really have to separate yourself from the game over again. I'll be honest, it is really hard. I try to play it completely fair. If a player wants to do something, I'm like, okay, let's see what happens. I try and do that. But I will occasionally give them the look of fear of yeah, you sure? Okay. Yeah. And I'll do that. And it's really hard not to. And it's not because I like the character so much. It's more when you attack, when you push the animated armor over, I was it's because I knew you
did a little.
It's because I knew you didn't know what they were. And and that's good because it means you're not metagaming. But at the same time, I'm I know what they are. This is a tough encounter for 2 people. Are you sure?
Well, I knew I'd done it wrong. Well, I knew that I'd done the right thing as an RP, but I knew I'd done the wrong thing as a character.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you gave this little kind of and then opened your little monster manual, and I was like, oh, here comes the pain. But what about last week when Trell just decided to suggest, and then they just decided to attack the queen or whatever, and and it was just well, you're going to jail now.
Yeah, well, and even then, I was I had to do this thing of okay, so when you cast a spell, people are aware of it. You can try and hide it, and we can do that, and that's fine, because I hate saying no, but I just felt God,
You really spelled it out for him,
it was just more does he realise, what could happen? Does he realise that you are trying to magically control somebody's mind?
Yeah, you really spelled that one out for him, and as the kind of silent character there, I was just Matt, no.
But you know what? I loved it because he still did it.
It was funny.
That's what I loved.
Yeah.
Right. That guy, EC, I'll read this, but don't read this aloud, okay? No. No. So, that guy, EC, no to your first question. It's a bit more complicated than that. It might be something very similar, but that's all I can say. Mark, I'm DMing a campaign. So this is the same guy, but this I'm allowed to read out. Mark, I'm DMing a campaign after your stream. Any tips for how to start? Not got any ideas other than just a tavern start. Man, it's really tough. All I would say is try and have a good theme for your campaign. Don't just have generic fantasy world. The Lightfall campaign is, the concept of it was, the world's been wrecked and it's been rebuilt, but what does that mean? It was a bit Fallout inspired, but not quite to that level of devastation, but shit's done, gun fucked up. How's it going to recover? I've played in campaigns where, you know, the concept might be something as simple as like, you are spies for the king, and you're going to do this, and there's another and another monarch is trying to take over the kingdom, and you're his spies.
Yeah.
Right. That's a concept. You have that, and then that gives you so many ideas to work with.
I think start with a sentence.
You've got to start with a concept, yeah. You've got to start with a sentence like, what if, or this, and this happens, or something like that. Like there's a new one coming out from Wizards, which is the Curse of Ravenloft. Steve's saying that's the exact start of my Greyhawk campaign, the concept of like, you are spies. So there you go. So that's a really cool thing. But like, you know, there are even the published adventures, they all have a theme about it. Like the new one that's coming out, Ravenloft or Curse of Strahd, it's the concept of it is, what if we had this super badass, you know, Bram Stoker style vampire guy, and he controlled a country? What would that mean?
Oh, wow,
you know? And that's the concept for it. And it's very kind of a romanticized vampire. Like, he's not like Twilight. This is like,
not sparkly.
He is a selfish, arrogant,
like the original,
romanticized, you know, like he's kind of, what is it? Who did it? Francis Coppola's Dracula.
Yeah.
Like, that is very much that.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing. So just come up with a concept, and honestly, you'll get ideas from there. Steve, can you scroll it down, or is that no text?
No, it was Fallen Angel, but they didn't
no
leave
message?
a message.
So thank you, Fallen Angel. Thank you very much. Flying Taco Cats. Speaking of gross sobbing, the camera hug you gave me 2 weeks. Scroll, Steve. Thank you. You gave me 2 weeks ago on stream, had me grotesque wailing. Kim, that's to you. I'm a lot more stable now, lol. Over the past year, I've really started to see the Yogs as heroes without capes. Start wearing capes, though.
Capes are in fashion now.
No capes. No capes. It's the one thing I've learned from The Incredibles. Logix 1983, please read out. Thank you for the wonderful streams of D&D. You have inspired me and my friends to start our own D&D adventures. You guys are awesome. Yes, more. Thank you.
Thank you.
Scrolly.
Scrolly.
Excalibur. Q. If a campaign story starts to slow down, how do you speed it up again? I feel sometimes while I DM, things start to take too long, and I'm afraid it will get boring for the players. Also, first time watching live, and I wanted to say love you guys. You know, this is something I've struggled. I've had campaigns do this in the past. I guess my biggest thing is, if you've got that core concept, try and remember what that concept is. Remember what it is that people loved about the campaign to start with. If it was about being spies for the king, but now it's kind of just turned into like, I don't know, wandering or like management sim, get back to what it was. Have somebody, literally, this is the simplest thing. This is something I remember a DM talking about a long time ago on a podcast. Have somebody kick in the door and kick off something new. That doesn't need to be a fight. That could be somebody kicking in the door and going, the king's been killed.
Yeah, oh my god.
Boom!
Yeah.
What does that mean? Bam, bam, bam.
Well, like, you did it a few weeks ago where I felt like we were kind of plateauing a little bit with the investigation, like FBI Tollfield, CSI Tollfield.
CSI Tollfield, yeah.
And then you started the next session with like, bam! Cam's gone crazy!
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's just kicking stuff over and he's going weird and he's swearing at everyone. And that really kind of gave us the injection of energy we needed.
And then you get back into it and you go, bam, okay, we're going to check this out. So that's what I would suggest. Urus Umbros, come on Mark, be a man and stare longingly at the THACO chart. So THACO is what I was talking about with that AD&D where your armor class needs to be lower. To hit armor class 0, oh, sorry Steve, can you scroll down a bit? In case you didn't know. Learn your maths while smashing kobold faces as a level 1 pugilist.
This sounds mad!
It's honestly, do you know what? I was really I'm not going to do this for high roll, I'm not going to do this for the Lightfall campaign. But it's an idea I've had for a long time. I love the idea of sending the PCs back in time, but when you do it, you give them new character sheets, which is an older edition of D&D, and they're gonna be like, what? And they're like, but I was a ranger, and I'm like, there are no rangers, you're a fighter now. Or like, you'd be like a monk, and I'd be like, there are no monks, you're a thief now. And you'd be like, what? And stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm not gonna do that in the Lightfall campaign, but maybe for a future
Maybe
campaign.
another one, yeah.
Is there a message with Pyro with Steve? Yeah. Mark, you're an amazing DM. Thank you, man. Like, oh man, I hate reading this stuff out because it makes me feel really big-headed. Like, I'm reading out these messages like,
just absorb it.
Such a good DM.
You're gonna have to pop your head.
I love how much detail and thought you really put into everything. It's very obvious you love doing this, and I think it's one of the things that makes this so good. I know you said you like D&D, but have you heard of Numenera? I have heard of Numenera. It looks really interesting. I love Monty Cook stuff as well. I'm definitely going to check it out just for my own personal thing. I might not run a game in it, but I'm going to buy the book and check it out. Another donation from Fallen Angel, this time a bigger donation. Thank you. Stop. Put a message.
Put a message so we can
please.
say something.
Say something. Tangential note. tangential note? No,
Gentle.
tangential note, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for a week and where I can watch live to make a donation. Here's some money for all the wonderful adventures. Please don't kill them all next week, Mark. Thanks. Try not to.
Do your little...
It's not up to me. It's up to the dice. Ancient Skies. Ruffle, when Juto comes back, or is she going to be Cam 2.0?
Yeah.
By the way, how could you doubt D&D popularity with Trot's great RPing? That's a good point.
So I'll just be another pervert.
Yeah, I do love Trot's RPing.
I know, he is great. He's such a little troll.
Sounds of the Wild. Hope you enjoyed my Reddit post last week, Mark. Love you both. Thank you very much. It was very cool. Alex M2795. Hey guys, haven't been able to donate for a couple of weeks as I've been low on funds. Don't worry about it. But payday has come around again. I'm happy to support this amazing stream.
Thank you very much.
If you can't afford it, please don't. Just donate when you can.
Just tell people about us. Make someone else watch it, and that's enough.
That is enough, honestly. Scroll up, please, Steve. God, we're not going to get through all of these, are we? Actually, no, we might be okay.
We
might be okay.
We could.
So, 405, time not found. Love the stream as always. I've been wanting to get into D&D, but the only person I know who DMs loves subjecting players to his magical realms, if you know what I mean. Oh, yeah, I do. That being said, what's the best way to find others who wouldn't mind a new player? So what he means is DMs who perhaps get out some of their own fantasies or perhaps fetishes.
Oh, sexy.
Yeah,
sexy.
I've heard.
We're not going to see that from
No.
You wake up naked in a dungeon.
Well, no, it'd be far more. There'd be more elves involved. No, there is a case of that, and unfortunately, there are just some people who are like that. All I can say is check out groups online. You can do things like Roll20, which is has directories that look for players. Check and see if you've got local gaming stores nearby. They might have gaming nights, or even just RP clubs. Like if you're in the UK, most universities have an RP society, but you don't necessarily need to be students that you need to join it. You can just join it normally and stuff like that. It is really tough. Or if not, try and find your own friends. Get your own friends involved, even if they've never played. Just get them to play a game and see if they like it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Is so many people are turned off by the idea of D&D.
Yeah, because it's
when they
become
actually
such
play
a thing. Yeah.
But when they actually play it, they go, "Oh, this is fun," and they enjoy it. So.
What is fun?
Yeah. Vivi goes boom. Question: my friends are getting me to start D&D, but I'm really worried I'm not creative enough and will make it boring for everyone. Any suggestions? Personal question for Kim. Are you seeing anyone on the dinner sometime? Well, the second question, let's
thank
just
you,
say,
but I'm very full.
Yeah. First question. First question, don't worry about being creative enough. Like I said, you don't have to do voices. You don't have to do crazy stuff. Just, come up with a fun character and just do your best. I think there was a lot of that. I think Matt's quite a creative and theatrical person, but he was quite shy. Katie was really worried about not being creative enough and not coming up with stuff as well. She's great. I think once you get into it, it really helps. You know what also helps? Booze. Booze helps quite a lot. I'm not condoning that.
Are there places as well that there could be scenarios or like a forum that suggests scenarios that you could look up and be like, oh, what if I use this scenario? What if I use this scenario?
I'm sure stuff like that. If you're the DM, there's definitely ways you can get pre-built scenarios. But if you're a player, just go on the D&D Reddit and say, hey, I'm not really creative. Can you guys give me some ideas of things that my character can do? And just use that as a starting point. People will give you cool ideas, but I think the easiest thing is come up with a character, come up with a really core concept of who they are, what they think, what they feel, what their beliefs are, and then when you're posed with a situation in the game, look at those things and say, okay, how would my character react to this? Just purely based on their personality. If they are super religious and they're confronted by something, how would that affect them? Would they pray to their god? Would they try and chastise somebody? Use that to your advantage. If you've got that stuff locked down, I promise you it's really easy to come up with cool RP. Sips is super cool, says, where is Sips? Sips is the best, can't contain rage. Sips is great, I love Sips, but he's not in high rollers.
You're a little bit biased there as well. Sips is super cool.
Sips is super cool.
In fact, is Sips super cool? Is that Sips? Is that you?
Is that Sips? Is it Sips out there? But if Sips wanted to be a guest on High Rollers one day, he's more than welcome. Just ping me a message. He knows where to find me. Nuclear Banana just started a new campaign with a group of friends, and our 6'6" Dragonborn got sent flying 5 foot by a horse. Nice. Joyful Potato. Hey, Mark and Kim, I hope this donation isn't too late. No, but not at all.
No, you're reading the wrong one. Joyful Potato is
Joyful Potato's down. Hey guys, I'm a big fan of the show. It made fan art and it's been featured on here in 2 sessions. Oh, my Tumblr is Livid Hoovian. Hey, Livid Hoovian, awesome to see you. I'd just like to say thank you for the amazing streams. Thank you for the amazing artwork. Tater Tot, this is the right one. Hey Mark and Kim, hope this donation isn't too late, not at all. Sad to be missing next week because I have a retreat, but I'll catch it on Yogs Live. Now for the question. 2 of my friends and I have been wanting to play D&D for a few months, but is 2 people enough? It's actually quite a common question I get. You can play with 2 people. Like if you've got 3 people, so 2 players and a DM, yeah, that's absolutely enough. Like I've played in games with 3 and 2 players. It's obviously a bit limited, and your DM has a bit more work to do. They have to balance encounters.
Yeah.
But you can also do things like you can have maybe you play 2 characters each, or maybe you have 2 main characters, and the DM gives you like a little henchman who just follows you around and does like rogue stuff, like disarms traps or whatever. You know, there are ways around it, but 2-player campaigns can be really interesting, especially if they're quite intimate. They can be very sort of like about 2 friends on a journey.
Yeah. You
know, that can be really fun. You know, that can be really interesting. Bumblebee Tuna!
He's been waiting for that.
Oh no, sorry, there's one beforehand.
We get to say it again though, so.
Yeah, 1997 Rock. Just wanted to donate since you guys always cheer me up. Missed the beginning, but this chat is awesome. Keep up the good work. Best wishes from the Netherlands. Thank you very much. Hi, Netherlands. Bumblebee Tuna! Haven't played D&D for quite a few years since 4th edition. My character was a human paladin called George, whose ultimate quest was to slay a dragon and impress his interest at home. You have all rekindled my love of D&D. Keep up. Love this stream.
I love that idea.
Yeah, just like...
Slay a dragon. George. St. George.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just a really... Sometimes the classic stuff works really well.
It's classic for a reason.
Yeah. Rebel Crybaby, can you pull scrolly please? Thank you. Can you all please give Larry Jones a get well soon? He has a very bad stomach bug. Hey, get well soon, Larry Jones.
Get well soon, Larry Jones.
He's a really big Kim fan as well.
Oh, bless you. I hope your tummy settles down soon.
Candid Arachnid donated again. Oh, by the way, you mentioned the art I made reminded me I composed a short theme tune for High Rollers. You can find it on the Reddit page. Awesome! If you have no need for it, that's fine. I just made it for funsies one evening when I was bored. No, it sounds awesome. We'll definitely play that during the stream. Trot is actually going to work on a theme tune for us.
Really?
Yeah, well, he really wants to. We're going to try and do a really cool animation thing. I need to speak to Emberverse, who started doing a really cool comic.
I saw a bit of that.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Emberverse, I might be DMing you at some point because might want to talk to you about making this video.
Yeah, the GM wants to DM you.
Yeah, so we'll do that. Technically, because I play Dungeons and Dragons, I am a DM, not a GM.
Shut up and read the next thing.
Sam the Lizard Whisperer. I'm a little bit poor this month. Hey man, don't worry about it. But I wanted to throw my love at you both. Me and my mates have been playing a homebrew 8-month campaign about the travels of an all-dwarven rock band.
My God!
Called Picking the Axes. That sounds like the best campaign ever. I want to be in that campaign.
That sounds amazing. Can I be a groupie? I want to be a groupie or a groupie,
amazing.
whatever.
You could be like a gnome groupie.
Yeah.
A rock gnome groupie. Fax the that sounds amazing. Fax the President. I'm guessing that your resurrection penalty is going to be having a squeakier voice on every reader. Speaking of voices, Mark, from now on, please can you refer to all swords, plate armor, etc. in Snake's voice as Metal Gear. Metal Gear.
I love it when you do your.
It's my favorite voice. It is my absolute.
That's actually one of my first kind of impressions of Mark. Was back on the PlayStation Access days when we ran a competition, and we encouraged people to send in videos.
It was for Gamescom.
Yeah,
to
so
come
you could
and
be a
present
host.
Gamescom.
Yeah, and you sent in your impressions video.
Yeah, do you know why I did? Because I was an out-of-work voice actor who had nothing better to do. And I saw this competition. I was like, yeah, I wouldn't mind going to Gamescom. Actually, that looks like good fun. And it's a video I could put on my portfolio. So I did this thing where I just went to the local park and I recorded like me going like, it was something like, hey, PlayStation Access, you should bring me along because I can do all these crazy voices. And I think I did like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah,
so
you did that.
It was like, come on, let's get to the chopper. This is bullshit, come on. And it was like that. And then I did Chris Walken, obviously.
Yes, of course.
So I did, hello, this is me at Gamescom 2013. Why? Don't understand. and then Solid Snake, and and you picked me, and I went
because
along.
I was like, well, he can go as long as he does the whole of the Gamescom presenting like that, and you did.
I pretty much, it was when Rob found out that I could do Jean-Claude Van Damme that Rob lost his mind.
I know, right?
It was just, I don't know if I can still do it. It was kind of like the ice cold refreshment of a girl's light. It's me, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and I'm here to give you the quotes from the movie Street Fighter. And I did that, and Rob lost his shit. And it was just, and like that whole trip was me, Nate, Dave, and Rob.
Yeah.
And it was me and Rob doing Golem voices at Nathan the whole time. Rob making me say stuff as Jean-Claude Van Damme, and just us being exhausted from Gamescom.
I know, right? And then
great.
I had to sit back in like Bath, editing it all at like 3 in the morning, you know. But it kept me going. Your stupid impressions and all the stuff that I kind of like didn't make the final cut. It was
There's a lot of funny stuff
really
in there.
hilarious.
There's a lot of funny stuff.
I loved it.
Steve's going to be back in 2 minutes, so hopefully we can read these two and they won't go anywhere. Lampyland30. Mark, you're awesome. Thank you so much. Your imagination amazes me. Kim, I would worship at your feminist soapbox anytime. Roll on, madam, roll on. Can't wait for next week. You guys make working Sundays bearable. Been watching the replays on Yogs Live. You guys are cool.
Thank you very much.
We're cool. Castanian here, love the stream. I've tuned in every week except one because I missed it. Fucking time zones! Question, I have a character in my setting I want my players to be genuinely scared to fight. Not a bad guy, the king's bodyguard. How do I do? The way I would do this is don't have the PCs fight them. Have the PCs, like, if your PCs know a bit about the world and, like, know that, like, oh shit, we couldn't, like, oh man, an owlbear, like, there's no way we could fight an owlbear, that thing would destroy us. Then have this guy turn up and kill one single-handedly. And not like in one blow, like show him just like the claws bouncing off his shield as he parries it away, as he cuts deeper into it, like plunging his gauntleted hand and pulling out its heart. You know, really sell the guy up. Yeah. But show him destroying things that even the PCs are scared to fight. You know, have him do things like when he enters the room, everybody goes quiet, like nobody fucks with this guy. Yeah. You know, little things like that, because it will make the PCs genuinely kind of go,
we should treat this person with respect.
Exactly. Like when you show figures of power, like the guards just defer to this guy immediately. That will give them a warning that he's not to be messed with. Need original name. Hey Kim, you are awesome.
Thank you.
Love you guys and doing some D&D. Thank you very much. Jay Klutz, this space intentionally left blank. Thank you very much. Robbie Heim, happy to see our demon player and our demonic DM. Mark, your amazing DMing is inspiring me to start my own world and introduce more people to D&D. So thank you. Thank you for introducing more people to D&D. I play a kobold sorcerer with friends because fuck playable races. So kobold's like a monster race. Yeah. Yeah, I know like Shin and like Zoe and that have started playing D&D, and like Duncan wanting to be like a flame skull, and he's a pixie or something now. And
yeah, he wants to be a pixie just because he just wants to like... He literally said he just wanted, because he has enlarge and shrink as a spell, he just wanted to enlarge and shrink people's penises. That's all he wanted to do. There you go, Duncan. Everyone, there you go. Duncan, everybody. Yeah. Cosmic Knife, just wanted to thank you for the inspiration and for making tabletop something I can enjoy again. An Abusive X kind of ruined them for me, but you fixed that. Oh man, well, I'm glad that we could. I'm now setting up a campaign with my friends. That's the best thing to do. I'm going to try and be as good as a DM as Mark. Hey, anybody can be this. This is nothing more than just playing a lot. He's selling himself short here. No, I'm not. He is truly talented. No, it's just a lot of D&D. I played a lot of D&D. But no, play with friends. Honestly, it's the best time you'll have. Fuck douchebag experts, man. Fuck them. Yeah, good luck with your campaign. Good luck. Lex Richards, back again. Kim, have you thought about taking the blade off your Guandao to make it a quarterstaff? Maybe to make it be a bit more peaceful. What? Mark, would the guru character teach you to how to balance her chakras? Would be an interesting considering the elements. That's something you can look into. I would not like to take the blade off my Guandao because I really like the way a Guandao looks. It's pretty cool. Yeah, and also like I don't know, maybe it's my Chinese ancestry, but actually at home I have a lot of kind of paintings and images of the God of War, the original Chinese God of War, with his Guandao and stuff like that. Yeah. So I just love it as a thing, and I just feel a bit like, I don't know. Here's a spoiler for you. It's just a quarterstaff in terms of game stats, except it does slashing damage.
but it's still burned out.
It
but
is.
It's like
It's
game mechanics. It doesn't break
stuff.
it. Yeah, it doesn't. Just,
Yeah.
It means that I didn't have to make up a new weapon. Jedi Slayer. Hi Kim and Mark, loving the streams. It's incredible how you make the world come alive and how the NPCs are so believable. I still haven't forgiven you for the verbal torture of the militia by fake Cam. Side note, will we get a return of the Raven voice? Who knows? No, I'm not doing it now. I gotta save that shit, man. I gotta save that shit. Thank you for the big donation as well. Sophiadio. I don't know. I can't pronounce these names. Meant to pop this in the other donation, but hey, have some more monies. I usually have to watch a Yogs Live because I usually work on Sundays, so I just wanted to say a proper from the heart thank you for Yogs Live and the regular uploads.
Thanks,
Sam,
much.
for those. Sam pretty much sorts out all of them. If he's not here, Barry normally does it. So big thank you to Sam for sorting out those and doing such a good job. Need original name. Hey there, I'm very interested in playing some D&D or Pathfinder. Problem is we have problems finding enough people to get a party. Where can we find some interested people to play with? If you want to play physically, again, check things like gaming stores, ask them if you can put up like a little ad or something like that. Check with universities, see if they've got an RP society or an RP gaming group. Check online, see if there's any gaming groups nearby you that just do it like in the pub and stuff like that. If you don't mind doing online, check out places like Roll20. It's a really cool online app. There's also Fancy Grounds on Steam, but Roll20 has an actual community with it, so you can actually go on and say, hey, we need 2 more players for our game. And you can just get some people and maybe you'll make some new friends. And if they're assholes, just kick them out. That's a genuine thing though. Like a lot of people, because they're so like, oh, but we need this person to make a group. It's like, no, screw that. If you're not having fun, kick them out. Like you are under no obligation to keep playing with them. So don't ever stress about stuff like that.
Is this why you killed me?
Otherwise I would have been like, oh, Kim, I'm so sorry. Like, I guess you just can't come back.
Just dead. Yeah, bye.
Silenced Hands. Here's another podcast worth checking out. The Adventure Zone. It's another 5e game, though it's super aware of itself. Quite different from the High Rollers game, but also quite good. Hey, there you go. Check that out. Maybe I'll check that out too. I always love knowing who really was.
Oh, Steve.
What's Steve saying? Oh, Steve. That's mean. There you go. Good old DVD01, CD01. No message.
Hey, yo.
Yeah,
One day you'll leave a message.
One day. Bam goes TNT again. Do you wing things a lot? Sometimes characters just do unexpected stuff. Do you have vague suggestions on what goes on in your world and then wing the encounter? Or do you have every eventuality planned for? Thanks for streaming, you make my week. This is a question I got a lot in Reddit and Twitter as well, so it's really good. It answers a bunch. No, I can't possibly plan absolutely everything.
Like someone dying.
Yeah, like honestly, I would not have expected that. You can, and this is, I'm sure DMs everywhere will say thing. You cannot plan for your players. What I try to do is I will plan. If I know what they're going to do next session, I will plan that in detail, or as much detail as I feel I need to. The rest of the world, I will have locations that I know are nearby that maybe have 2 or 3 bullet points each. Like the Elven Spire, I literally had a note of Elven Spire, Eternal Autumn, recently reappeared, being attacked by Fey Orcs. That's all the notes I had when you died.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay then, let's go. And I just used that and I winged it. And I think that's the big thing, is like DMing. You know what? If you can take an improv class, it's going to help you be a better DM. I've not done them in a long time, but I used to do them when I was training to be an actor. They really help. They just help you come up with stuff, learn to never say no, always go with it. But yeah, just in terms of world building, make sure you've got a bunch of interesting locations near to where your story is taking place. Have some notes, and then if they decide to go, hey, what's in this cave? We're going to go there. You're like,
don't go to the cave.
No, I would never say don't go to it.
Yeah.
Instead, here's a little DM tip for you. This is a bit behind the scenes.
Oh.
Guess what? They've decided to go to the cave instead of the port town overrun by pirates that you were planning. Those pirates have suddenly become cave-dwelling orcs. That really cool encounter in the tavern you had planned? The orcs have set up a big camp inside the cave and they're running it from there. You just reuse stuff.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. These guys wouldn't have a fucking clue if I changed stuff.
To Mark's credit, there has been actually quite a few times you've winged it, but we haven't known until after the session, and you've told us. So, like, the very first one, I think, was perhaps the very first encounter we had with the vampiric tree, when instead of fighting it, I went, Juto's gonna go and touch it, and try and get inside it.
You specifically wanted to try and follow them after them.
Yeah.
And I was like, Hadn't planned for that.
And then not only did you kind of tell me what it was like, and then the
roll
fight
with it.
inside the tree, but when Trot decided Cam was gonna go touch the tree as well, you added the golden cleric thing, which came out of nowhere.
Yeah, because and that became because I knew that they were going into another plane or another space, and Cam's nature is that there are certain things about who Cam is that in different planes would appear differently, and I suddenly realised that, and I thought, hey, that's a really cool detail, and it just made it feel like, was this planned?
Yeah.
And that's the beauty. Players don't know shit.
Well, that's the thing. We thought that he had this all planned.
Players are dumb as shit.
Wow. And then afterwards, he was like, yeah, I totally winged that. And I was like, what? So yeah, good job, man. Good job.
Splash my nose. So yeah, that's the secret.
didn't plan for that,
I didn't
did ya?
plan for that. That's the secret DM tip. Just reuse stuff. Just reskin it. The drow that you plan to have them fight, now he's a dwarf. Boom, 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 boom. Just change it on the fly. Nobody knows. Astro Machine, drinking game for high rollers. Oh, fuck this. Every time Mark says effectively, take a drink, we'd all be dead.
Yeah.
Somebody's done a counter. Do you know how many times I've said effectively? 72 times in 7 streams. Somebody's counted that on the subreddit. I hate my life, and I'm sorry I say effectively all the time.
I'm gonna carve it on his tombstone when he dies.
The other ones are, every time Trell goes down, take a drink.
Oh my god, we'd be dead.
Also, Kim, sorry, I think I started the Reborn as a Dragon Ball already on the subreddit. It was evil DM tip, so you can blame Astro
Don't
Machine.
worry about it. I'm blaming it on Mark because
It's true. I did encourage it.
He did encourage it.
but I encouraged it because I knew it wasn't going to happen. So. Zri Gaming. Hello, I don't play D&D with anyone, but I got an idea for an interesting character that I might tweet you, Mark. But, question. Is it difficult to make overly silly characters fit together with dark, serious characters in the world you have in mind? Case in point, Cam Buckland, Juto. Honestly, it doesn't matter. Silly characters, I think, especially if they're player characters, just kind of stressing to them, if they're just silly, if they just want to be a bit of a douche and kind of have a laugh, that's fine. But just say to them, okay, but there's going to be serious storyline as well. And if you dick around with people, they're probably not going to be happy about it. And you just be honest with them.
Yeah.
And the thing is, as well, is talk to your group. If everybody wants to play a silly character, don't make them play a serious campaign. Play a dumb campaign.
Yeah.
If everybody wants to be serious, don't throw in a crazy toy maker goblin who makes them all into toys. That's lame. They're going to be annoyed at you. Just kind of go with the flow, but I think you can have a mix. I think we've got a great mix with Cam and Juto.
I don't think it makes for some really kind of because you don't want
diverse
a campaign that's all serious.
No,
you want
you can't
silly
have
moments,
it.
like the moments when Cam is winding Juto up and all she does is stare at him because she just does not understand what this human is trying to do. What are you talking about? I don't get it. And I think it the deadpan Juto face is the perfect counter to Cam's kind of
he's finger pistols.
Yeah.
So I think you can have a really good mix. It can be difficult, but speak to your players about it. And in terms of world building, no, I think that even you've seen it. You can see it in places where real world stuff has been really awful. People will find things to laugh about. People will find ways to have a laugh and a joke because you need it. Otherwise, you kind of it's
Donald Trump.
Oh man. Oh well.
Oh man, that's the perfect example of serious world stuff being turned into a joke.
Get trumped. Right. Negligent money again. Question. Have a base idea for a 5e game world and Pangea-like continent that was decimated by a massive meteor separating into 3 major continents. Steve?
Arpelagios.
Can you scroll down a bit, Steve? Thank you. And many archipelagos. Thinking of going either colonial or Hellenistic era. Any ideas, either of you? You've said a lot of words there that I do know, but I don't know if I fully understand. It sounds like a really cool thing. And I think my only thing for you is think about what effect that would have on the world. So did this all happen sort of before civilization and they've grown around it? Because then if you've got a lot of archipelagos, which I believe is lots of small islands, you're going to have a lot of merchants and port towns. That's going to massively influence your thing. Look at things like kind of Caribbean era pirates, because that's what would happen. They'd have to trade, they'd have to travel and trade with each other. Think about if it's happened while there is civilization. Well, holy shit! Suddenly, maybe a kingdom has been split in half. What does that mean? These are all good questions to develop really good world building. Anything you want to win?
No, I think
No.
that's done.
Done. Beep Boop 556. Hey you two, nice relaxing stream, kinda after a day of paintballing. Anyways, do you build the world first or the characters, and how do you cater the enemies to be actually killable? So in this case, I built the world first.
Yeah.
Well, actually, when we made the characters, I gave the guys like a little cheat sheet of information about the world. So like, this is the world, this is what's happened. This is some things you need to know. Like, that's where the whole thing about Juto kind of wanting to rescue tieflings. Because you're like, oh, these tieflings being slaves, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, I want a noble quest. Like, that's a noble quest.
And that led to that. I think that's the better way to do it. But at the same time, I'm more than happy I think that the best way is to do it in sync. Create the base world, introduce it to your players, have them create their characters, and as part of character creation, have them create a town, or a kingdom, or a place, or a dungeon, and add it to your world. Use it in the world building. Maybe a player says, hey, I know you've said that all humans are from this continent, but actually could I have I want to be from a tribe that lives on an island that's never seen magic before.
Yeah.
That's a fucking great thing to put in a campaign. What a cool thing to add and give extra flavour to. And maybe the PCs go there one day. It's just nice little touches that you can add on. So definitely do that. In terms of making enemies that are killable, as far as I've found, players never have problems killing enemies. Making them difficult to kill is the harder one.
Yeah.
And I'd say if you want to make enemies harder to kill, make sure smart enemies would have an escape plan. It's annoying that when you kick the crap out of Amelia, if you hadn't knocked her unconscious in like one blow, she had scrolls and potions specifically to help her get away so she could go in, fuck up Cam's name, and leave.
Yeah.
Because if you were planning to do that, you'd have a way out.
Yeah.
Smart bad guys are going to do that. They're going to have a potion of invis that they're like, when they're low on hit points. Like a bad, if you're fighting a smart villain and he's on the ropes, he's going to go, can't fucking see me, bye, or I'm going to turn into mist and fly out the window, or something. Minion. Or like minion, do whatever, think about that. Don't be afraid to have bad guys run away, because do you know what? It's going to make your PCs mad, but in a good way. They're going to be like, fuck, I can't believe that guy got away. We need to track him down. Boom, story. That's what you want.
I think we get into a trap as well of thinking, in RPGs, everything has to result in a fight, and like we have to fight our way through everything, and someone's got to die. Like the bad guy's got to die. And
you don't.
Sometimes it's like, well, with Smiles the dog, I was like, well, I want to try and tame the dog, even though I couldn't. I was like, I want to try and tame the dog because I could have.
It was very hard.
Really hard. Yeah, and I rolled
it was like
terribly.
natural 20 kind of territory
but,
to do. Or very high rolls, like 19s with loads of bonuses.
But that's the thing I like about D&D is that it doesn't have to be
possible.
like, oh look, we're gonna have to fight it, and then we'll kill it, and then we'll get some loot, and then we'll level up, and then we'll go on.
I've always wanted to have an Ozymandias Watchman moment in D&D, where like the PCs come in and they're like, evil wizard, we're gonna stop your plan to turn the village into zombies, and he's like, you mean I've already done it? You guys were fucking around in my dungeon for like 4 days. I've like killed everyone, like they're all dead. And then, can you imagine the PCs? They'd be like, what? And you'd be like, yeah, you guys were like buying magic items in the next town. I've completely killed everybody. Like GG heroes, GG.
Well, we're dicks.
But that's great. What a great story.
Oh man, that would be evil.
Next question. Arcaris0. Enjoying the streams, have a question for you. How would you handle mixing brand new players with experienced players that like to min-max characters? It can be difficult to make combat encounters that match both levels of skill. You're right. This is probably one of the big things I get so many questions about, and it's really tough. So min-maxing is people that will tweak that. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Do you know what? I've been a week without Coke, guys.
I know, right?
This is water.
He's burping more than me.
I know. So this is really... So min-maxers are people that will constantly tweak characters to be the most powerful and optimized they can. Whereas new players will just make a cool character. And it's a shame. Speak to the min-maxers, like, just as a DM and as a player, and say, hey man, look, I know you really enjoy, like, getting the most out of the character, but the new guys, they're just playing, they're doing the RP stuff. I'm not going to be throwing, and you can say to them, I'm not going to throw really hard encounters at you guys. You're going to fucking cruise through these things really easily. And if you do that, it's going to get boring for everybody. Make an interesting character. The other way is to remember that generally if a character is min-maxed, it's because they're super strong in one area. That means they're going to be really weak in one area. And that's where the non-experienced players are going to be much stronger. Just have more of those encounters. Maybe you've got a guy who's made some crazy 10th level barbarian who's just fucking destroying every combat encounter you throw at them. But guess what? He's going to be shit if they've got to talk to the nobility and the king and investigate a murder.
Yeah.
Mate, and your other players might see that's going to be their time to shine. So it's really tricky. I've never found a good way around it, but I've always been blessed with players that aren't like that. So all I can say is just try and, have a diverse range of encounters. Don't just go with combat stuff. And speak to the min-maxer. And if he's kind of getting frustrated, like, oh, I just want to fight stuff, or if he's kicking off, speak to him and say, hey, man, that's not the way this campaign's going. And again, you maybe have to say to him, like, look, if you're not going to enjoy it, maybe we play a different game. And, like, I'll play a separate game with you, and I'll play a different game with these guys. Not all groups work together, unfortunately. We're really lucky that everybody does, but it's true fact. So, sorry I can't give you better advice on that one. Con UK 21. Hi, Mork. Hi, Mark. Any thoughts for some interesting, lesser-seen races like Genocide? We are starting a campaign soon, and I'm currently playing on a Genocide-like fighter, like a revenge-seeking samurai.
That sounds awesome. That
sounds really cool. Genocide are all, basically each one is tied to a different element. So you have Fire Genocide, Water Genocide, Air Genocide, and Earth Genocide, each tied to an element. Yeah, if players want to play them, I'm more than happy to. I have no problems with them playing like the non-core races. If people want to play monster races, I will stat something up for them. But yeah, no, I'm all about it, and I think that they make really interesting characters. Veteran Barry played a Genocide in our game with Trot, and it was really cool. But yeah, Fire-Seeking Samurai, Fight a Samurai, it sounds really good.
Tell me I had that option at the beginning. I guess I've kind of turned Juto into...
Well, I think because I didn't even get the chance to. You saw the Tiefling thing, and you were like, oh yeah, I want to be one of them. You're just like, that's it. You were like, okay, I'm going to be this. I was like, okay then.
She's purple and weird. I like her.
It's because a lot of these other races are in other books, and so I was showing you the player's handbook, and you were like, yeah, I want to be that.
Okay.
And I didn't get a chance to show you the other book.
Oh, okay. So I can see another book.
Well, if Juto dies...
Again.
You can always come back as whatever you want. But yeah, and there's also homebrew races. Not saying that any of the current players are any homebrew races, but maybe there are. Drascalder. Damn, I almost lost the stream. Long family call. Giving some love to you guys to let you know you've encouraged me to buy all 3 books from 5th edition. Wow, thank you, man. Thanks for supporting D&D. Hope you love them. They're really cool. I love the books. There's super cool stuff in it. Do you know what I love? I'm just going to side tangent. D&D's always been a bit of a boys club thing. Wizards really went to town with the new player's handbook to really open it up in diversity. All the artwork, there's no it's not all dudes. There's such a wide range of male, female characters that are androgynous. There's everything different genders, and they actually have a small tab line at the bottom which is about diversity and if you want to play a character, you play that character. Doesn't matter what their gender or sexuality is. D&D is for everybody, and I love that. I love the fact that it is becoming more of an open thing.
Yeah, and I did like going through the player's handbook. That all the illustrations and stuff like that are it's fairly far-reaching. There's such a diverse mix of kind of illustrations in here.
Of skin colors and genders and everything.
This person, they is awesome.
It's going to be see-through.
Cool.
Yeah, but it's just nice. I think that's just a nice thing. That's just me going off on a bit of a tangent there. So Steve, can you scroll down? Marlfish, I'm going to go broke, but I saw a question in chat that I wanted to know the answer to. Monsters into food. Yay or nay? Also Steve for guest. Yeah, we should get Steven as a guest actually. Monsters into food. Eating monsters? I'm not sure what
I guess
that question
if
means.
we killed a monster and then turn them into beef jerky.
Certain monsters you could certainly do that with. I don't think anybody wants to eat a troglodyte. I don't think anybody wants to eat a ghoul.
Or that dude that we fought, the maid man. Smiles his owner.
Yeah, Handsome.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
I killed him, didn't even ask his name.
No, this is the giant man. Yeah, that would basically be eating a man. You wouldn't want to do that. But things like a basilisk. I don't know. It's a bit of a weird question. It's a good question though. X3 Racer, hey guys, I love High Rollers and I've watched the past 2 live. It's inspired me to start working on my own homebrew campaign with some friends, and hopefully we'll be starting in the next few weeks. Awesome, thank you very much, man. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Eros Umbros, so we shouldn't chip in and buy you the Book of Carnal Knowledge then? No, don't worry about
sexy
it.
DM.
No, please don't. There was I'm sure there was somebody back in 3rd edition. There was a publisher, because it used to be an open there was an open license so anybody could make a book about D&D stuff and sell it.
Yeah.
And there was one which was called the Book of Erotic Deeds or something like that, and there were some dodgy rules in there, man. I remember my friend Dave. This is back when I was in high school. He downloaded the PDF of it off Napster or something like that, And like he just like I remember like glancing at a few pages. I was like, Dave, why are you looking at this? Like this is horrible. Don't ever show this to me ever again.
Oh my god.
Side note: I realise you have D&D to run for now, but any thoughts of going to other systems? White Wolf maybe? Yes, I want to see Vampire Masquerade or Requiem. I am not the DM to run those games. I have so little knowledge about horror and vampires and werewolves and all that stuff. I have no, like, I could not run those games.
There's a horror?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Well, there's horror D&D, like this Ravenloft one that the Wizards guys are bringing out. That is very horror themed. It's vampires. It's meant to be a lot darker in tone. Ooh. But there are other systems, not from Wizards, like Werewolf and Vampire, which are you play a coven of vampires and you have all the different bloodlines and you're pretty fucked up.
Steve says, from another time, another land is disgusting D&D-like system.
There you go. Okay. So, yeah, there's loads of systems out there.
I like the idea of the horror. Maybe I'll learn the horror one.
Yeah, I mean, if I think you would quite like, you should do Cthulhu, dude. You should get the Cthulhu RPG, because you would love that shit.
I am a destroyer of worlds.
Exactly.
So,
well, like, because you love your, like, Arkham Asylum and stuff like that. Like,
a little bit of Lovecraft.
Lovecraft. You should get the Cthulhu game, and we should run a game at your house and, like, play it privately. Because I'd love it, because I've always wanted to play a Cthulhu game, because I love my detectives, and I love, like, in LARP, I play a magical detective. But yeah, we could do that.
I kind of been playing, not Arkham Asylum, but the other one.
Eldritch Horror?
No, Mansions of Madness.
Which
and
is
that's a little bit DM-y.
That's kind of like the Imperial Assault Star Wars stuff. So it's like DM-y, but you're not creating
it's
the story.
within, like, rules. So it was kind of like DM Light. I felt like a DM Light one, because you couldn't make it to that night. But I did it with Trot and Katie and Matt. And it was like a kind of... I set the campaign, like the scenario. I knew things that they didn't know.
Yeah, it's a good intro. Like, it's a good way to get used to it.
It was really, like, I really liked it.
Well,
so.
Maybe you should check out the Cthulhu game.
Oh, okay.
Ace of Thorns, donated for the second time in the stream. Thank you so much. Just loving all you're doing. Each fun moment reminds me of when I used to play years ago, and I smile, just like Kim's makes me do, like always. P.S. Kim, hope you got my care package from Ace of Thorns.
Is that the one with the
D20
the D20 and the Pez and all that? I need to reply to your letter, but I had to pack it up in a box because we're moving all the desks around.
We are moving around all the desks,
actually. I will reply to you very soon. Thank you very much for the Pez.
Blaine Kerrigan, can you mention the Northwest Gaming Centre in Stockport near Manchester as a role-playing group? People can Google it to find more details. Hey, there you go. People mentioned anybody near Manchester. Check out the Northwest Gaming Centre in Stockport. There you go. Shout out. Victorial. Hey, Kim and Mark. Great session. Thank you for always providing entertainment and RP. I'm developing a virtual reality game for children going through rehabilitation. Any suggestions on how we can create the best story possible? Oh, that is such a big question, dude. I am not a games writer.
Huge, yeah.
Like, I find writing D&D so much easier than writing anything else because I don't have to do so much because the players will just create stories that I can adapt around. So much of what I do is improv. For me, good stories are about good characters and your relationships with those characters. My favorite game of all time is favorite series is the Mass Effect series, and it's purely because of the cast of characters and how involved I got with all of them, how much I cared about them. That for me is the best bit about storytelling is characters and your interactions.
Also,
your relationships.
Could you work with the kids to make the game? Because, like, I don't know,
see what, like, I'm guessing, like, maybe because it's with rehabilitation, like, maybe they already are, like, working with stuff, but like
could they spark their imaginations and kind of get them involved? I imagine, like, I'd love to do that as a kid, like, kind of just,
The next one is from the Cult of Sips. 2468, who do we appreciate? Sips. Sips. Go Sips.
Biased.
Hi Sips.
Sips, you're really creating a lot of accounts here.
I love feel free to keep doing it. Mr. Daxjax, hey Mark and Kim, you make my Sunday. Currently starting a musical composition named Jiutóu's Lullaby, and I was wondering if Kim still plays piano. If so, how can I send you the sheet music?
I do still play piano.
PO box,
I'm
I guess.
quite rusty. If you could send it to our PO box, which is Yogscast PO.
Oh yeah,
box,
it's on the way. Google Yogscast PO box.
Yeah, it's on the FAQ on the main Yogscast page. But oh my god, like. Thank you, and I will try and do my best not to butcher it. I'm a bit rusty, so I'll practice. I'll practice really well.
Bam goes TNT again!
Dude!
A buddy of mine lost his dwarf character after raiding a dungeon with almost all crits alone. He rolled a 1 crossing her over, and because of all the loot, he drowned.
Oh!
We looted him and ran. Last donation from me. That's amazing. Awesome. If we can scroll,
That's what Troll would do to me.
Right, just really quickly, everybody who asked a question on Reddit and Twitter, I'm really sorry. I don't think we're going to get to them with all these donations. I will reply to all of them on Reddit. Oh, maybe. Well, I don't know. We're going to.
If we smash through it,
if we smash through it, I might. But even then, I've got so many. I will reply to these though. I will reply on Reddit and on Twitter. I promise. That was Bam Goes TNT. Stranglethroat. Hey Mark. My GF has played a lot of tabletop RPGs, and she says you are clearly a great DM. Thank you so much. P.S. Been a huge Kim fan since you made your YouTube channel. You actually tie with sips for my favourite Yog. There you go.
Controversial.
High praise.
Thank you very much.
Crazy Burger H. Sorry for the small donation. What are you talking about? You've donated like 3 times. Will High Rollers ever have a player count higher than 4, like Geekins Under 6? With guests, yes, but not on a regular basis until we get a bigger room. Then maybe we can look at it. Because this room, with all of us in, is already super cramped.
Yeah, this is nice
I'm a bit worried about how we're going to get Martin in, but we're going to do it. But yeah, if we get a bigger room for live streaming, absolutely. I'd love to have maybe 5 or 6 players. Prometheus. Hey guys, seeing how awesome 5th edition is got me to start a new campaign with my mates. I miss playing my old Eladrin Tunaval. A Lich Lord crushed the mind of the Eladrin and his wolf companion's body, causing ancient life artifacts to merge them. It's a pretty cool idea. Very cool. I'm glad you're back into D&D.
I love these little stories everyone's sharing with us.
I love it.
About
Character
their
stories are great. Yeah,
They're so cool.
The thing is what you'll find as well is you'll do this. Is you'll go places and people will start talking about D&D and you'll tell stories about your character, but you don't tell it like, oh yeah, my character in D&D. You'll be like, yeah, there was this time when we like fought a dragon and we did this and we did this. You tell it in the first person. Yeah, Troll died. And you tell it all in the first person. I do that all the time. Yeah. There was a couple of questions I really want to get into this about, like some of my favourite characters and stuff. Jason McRae, my friend was writing a backstory for his character and I got a little bit carried away with it. It's about 4 pages long. I haven't read it, he just told me about that. If someone presented you this long backstory, would it be fine for you as a DM? Absolutely it would.
Matt's backstory is quite long.
No, Matt's wasn't long. Cam's was longish.
Okay.
Elora's was longish. But I think generally no, like, most of that's going to be superfluous, I can't say it. Superfluous detail. So you're not going to need to know everything in there, but it's also going to give you loads of really interesting points to create plot hooks for him for, like, and that's the best thing. I think what players love the most is when it's a story about them, because I think everybody likes to be in the spotlight, center of the story. Yeah. Like, everybody likes a little bit of that. So like when everybody gets their moment, that's really cool. So yeah, it wouldn't bother me at all.
Jadorus. Used to love playing D&D, but now all my friends and I are in our mid-20s. We don't have enough time to commit to a campaign. In your experience, is once-a-month campaign too difficult to maintain?
Do you know what? I've had this problem loads of times. No, just commit to it. That's the biggest thing. Get everybody together and say, once a month, we are going to do this. It's going to be every first Sunday of the month. Yeah. We're going to be at this house at this time and we're going to play. And make it a good long session. Yeah. Make it like a 6-7 hour session if you can. Get pizzas in, get snacks or food or whatever you want. Make it really good. But no, I don't think I think it can definitely work. It does take a bit more effort. It just means everybody has to be really committed to it. I used to play sort of every 2 weeks online. It was tough, but you can do it.
It's like any hobby, really. Like,
yeah,
if you love it enough, you'll make time for it.
And we're lucky enough that we kind of have like this, that we can do it on a Sunday and play every week, and it's a thing. Sailor Solar, another small donation with a question this time. Do you know of any good places to get custom minifigs for PCs? Yes, I do. It's a bit expensive, but check out HeroForge.com. HeroForge, if you'd like to send me any miniatures, by the way, or any vouchers.
Look at this guy.
It's expensive for shipping.
Shameless.
It is shameless. I'm completely no shame.
Shameless.
It's very expensive to ship to Europe currently because I don't think they have a European stockist or supplier, but it's about $25. But you actually create a custom thing. So it's like a 3D model. It's 3D printed, but like you pick like arms and clothes and a pose and like heads and hairstyles. It's like a little MMO character created, but then you get a mini at the end. That's really cool. The other one I tend to go to Reaper, which they aren't custom, but there's a lot of variety and you can paint them up and customize them with like molding putty and stuff like that. Yeah, that's kind of the main ones that I would recommend. So check those out.
Crimson X29. Kim, I think it would be cool if Juto was brought back with an extra tail.
Two tails.
Blood for the blood god. P.S. Can you call my friend Jasper B a twat? Jasper B.
Do you want to fill in for Trot?
You're a twat.
There you go.
I didn't do it with the passion.
Twat.
Twat. Extra tail. We did say that maybe her tail should fall off, but that was a bit too like a gecko.
That's gross.
I know, it's gross. And then it just grows back like Deadpool.
You want to be Deadpool, that's what it
I
is.
just want to be Deadpool.
Angelus Lucius, hey guys, a question for Kim. I know you have started playing D&D again just recently, but how would you see yourself as DM? Are there things you would do differently than Mark does?
I wouldn't kill clearly the best character on the roster.
Would you do this? Would you go, that's not up to me?
Jeez,
would you do that?
Such a jerk.
I know.
I don't know if I could be a DM because it kind of panics me, like the idea of having this much control. I'd need to see a bit more of like the sneaky books that you look in, like just to see how much stats and numbers I have to manage. But the mention of the horror, like
Cthulhu stuff, or horror, or
like the
vampire
werewolf stuff really interests me. Like I said, playing Mansions of Madness, which is like D&D light, DMing light. Kind of, it worked. It's a lot of stuff to juggle. What would I do differently to you? I don't know actually, because I think, cover your ears. He's a pretty good DM, and you do create the world. And like today, like I don't think anyone else could have pulled off like a one-on-one session like you did today.
There are
like,
other DMs who can do it.
But really setting that scene and like, dude, you made me cry my own tears. Like nobody does that.
But that's because I was crying as well, and because of Barris. So.
Yeah, goddamn Barris.
That's interesting.
But I think yeah, I've got a lot to learn from you if I ever wanted to DM myself. And certainly, if I ever DM'd a campaign, I would be coming to you all the time, teach me, sensei.
I was genuinely very honoured. Shin came up to me because he started playing D&D with like Zoe and that, like just offline. They're playing it for fun. And he was asking me like, "Oh, could you recommend this?" or like, what do you recommend for that? And being known as the D&D guy, I kind of like that. I remember like before I actually first moved here, when I was still in Brighton and Nina was working from home and I was working at NCSoft. Like Smithy and Trot, when they were playing their games, would like tweet me questions about D&D. Like, how does this work? And I'd be like, well, and I'd answer it. And like Nina used to get really annoyed because we'd have like these long spammy Twitter conversations, and she'd be like, "Oh, you're just like their D&D teacher now." Like, it was great, and I genuinely kind of like that. It's kind of sweet. Hania46, have some more money. Thank you very much. Nay, hey, I started DMing in my first ever D&D game last night. It is completely homebrewed with 8 adventurers. That's a big group. I worry that if my group splits up, how do I keep everyone happy and moving forward? Any tips? Oof. Always a tricky one. Never split the party. Just remind them about that. Splitting the party is something that they are going to do every now and then, and it is tricky. What I find is, this is how I do it. You do a scene with one, you do a scene with the other. You go back, you do another scene with the one, you do another scene with the other. And however much they split down, you do it in that order. Yeah. You just scene, 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 scene. And a scene is like an interaction with an NPC. They explore a room. If they're fighting something, it's like a couple of rounds of combat, then switch to the other guys. Go back, next couple of rounds of combat. It's very tricky to do. If your party does it, they do it, but if you can try and encourage them to stick together, that's better, but I know it's not always possible. But yeah, generally don't go more than a scene. Kind of just try and keep it quick, keep it snappy so people don't lose interest.
Engaged, yeah.
That's it. That's the main thing. Another tip that you can do, this is a bit of an experimental one and it completely depends on your player group. I've considered it with these guys, is actually get the other players to play NPCs in other people's scenes. It keeps them engaged.
Work,
yeah, so it's like, one group's in the store, the other group's off doing something else. You have one person from that group, or you have the other group play the shopkeeper and her husband, and they play it for the other 2 characters.
That could be really fun.
And you can interject and say, actually, no, this is blah, 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 because you're the DM, but let them have some fun with it. And they could be assholes, but that's interesting because then you can write notes like, the shop owner of the Barrel and Barb is a complete asshole. And next time they go there, make him an asshole. Yeah. Like, just keep running with it. It can be really interesting.
That's a really cool idea, yeah.
Leon, right.
Hundo!
Right, I have to point out something, because I've had this pointed out to me ages. Leonhard Euler is one of the most famous mathematicians of all time, and I never know who he is. So, who said mathematicians don't have good wages? I knew before you said that. Thank you for the hours of amazing content. Hope to see more crazy evil geniuses, mathematicians in particular, in this session. Love it. This is the least I can do to support you. Thank you so much.
That's so generous.
Thank you for all the maths.
Math is great.
Math is good. Isgar, Mark, what is your Mark with a C? Interesting. What is your weirdest voice?
Raisins.
My weirdest voice? I don't know.
The raisins.
No, that's not the one. No, that's not my weirdest.
That's not my weirdest.
I don't know.
My weirdest could be something like this. Hello. Yes.
Something like that. I don't know. That's the thing. Is like.
That's pretty normal for you.
Is it quite normal?
Yeah.
I don't know. One day we'll find out.
One day he'll be thrown in the improv circle of despair, and it'll just come from the darkest place of him.
It will. Yeah. Sky Bison Gaming. How can I convince my friends to play D&D with me? None of them are really into this stuff. Also, thanks for all your videos and stream. You always cheer me up. It's a tough one. If people think that they're not going to be into it, they can be pretty resistant. And I'll be honest with you, some people just aren't into it. Even if they do play it, they just might not be up for it. All I can say is what I would do is speak to them, find something they like. If they like anime, maybe you go and find a very anime-esque system.
Yeah.
If they like werewolves, play werewolf. If they like sci-fi, do Star Wars. Like, find something they love and use that. Don't force them to play fantasy D&D if they don't like fantasy
Or like
D&D.
maybe even do a taster session and create them a character and say, this is your character.
Yeah, well that's it.
Like,
so if you buy the starter set for D&D, it actually comes with pre-made characters.
Yeah.
There's like, I've heard of one thing of like a guy who did a dinner party for a bunch of friends, and he sold it to them as a dinner party, and they all turned up, and when they got there, they ate food, and he was like, okay, right, and he just put a character sheet in front of them, set a dice on the table, he sat down and went, you're all in tavern. And on the character sheet, it had their name. It had like, you know, a kind of fancy version of their own name.
Yeah.
And he had gone with races that kind of represented each of them.
Yeah.
Like the bearded guy was a dwarf. Like the kind of nice girl was like the elf. And
Yeah.
You know, he had the stereotypes, but he just did it. And he just sat down and he went, "You all awaken a thing." And I remember him saying like they were confused and they kind of, but they went with it and they were like, "Oh, I do this," and he was like, "Okay, yeah, you do that."
Yeah.
And he taught them as they went, and like, you know, initially he didn't do any rolling, and then he would slowly kind of be like, "Okay, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this dice, and I want you to roll that, and on your sheet there should be something called this, and I want you to add it and tell me what you get." And they'd be like, "Okay, I got a 12," and he'd be like, "Oh well, then you don't find you do find the secret door, and you open it, and they
hooked them,
and that's it, and
gently,
you just hook them in, like get them in.
reel them in."
Exactly. So
awesome.
that's a cool way to do it. I am not Sips. Sips is the best. I can't tell anymore.
God damn it, Sips.
Draz X2. So my current character is a human warlock that can't do magic. By tinkering, made a mechanical glove that can get energy flowing through the air to simulate effects of magic. What do you think of characters that really want to be a class but can't do it? Hey, that sounds really cool.
That sounds cool. I like that idea.
Here's the thing, right? D&D. I'm gonna be a monk, but I don't want to be a martial artist. I want to be a dude who like is a bouncer. Great. Guess what? The class works exactly the same. You're just gonna change the flavor of the abilities, and you can work with the DM. Like your magic gauntlet, like instead of doing magic through magic, you have like a techno gauntlet that shoots lightning. Well, guess what? Maybe that you know there can be like benefits, like anti-magic spells don't work, or nobody can counterspell it. But at the same time, maybe it has problems. Maybe
mechanical
it breaks,
breakdown,
and stuff like that. Just reskin it.
That's
awesome.
The
beauty of it.
I love that idea. Yeah,
you can just
use
reskin
your
stuff.
imagination.
That's it. That's all it is, man. Play safety dance. Hey! Apparently, so I heard on the Reddit, so the surgery wasn't as major as he was expecting. Still surgery, obviously recovered. So good to see you. We can't play some safety dance, but we can dance if we want to. We can leave our friends behind. Because if they don't dance, and if they won't dance...
then they ain't no friends of mine.
There you go. Thanks, Play Safety Dance.
We
We will do Safety Dance at Jingle Jam. I'm most certain that we will definitely do that.
I could sing it, but I can't remember the lyrics. But I will dance.
I remember that bit. That's the only bit I remember.
Well, if you just take this bit and just put the music behind it, and then you got the...
Don't play that though, Steve. I don't want this to get muted.
Yeah.
Negligent Money, again, just remembered something hilarious about my first character in a 4E game. He was a Deva Avenger, like a barbarian that has cleric. Like, man, I played 4th edition. I DM'd 4th edition for a long time. I know what a Deva Avenger is. I fucking love the Avenger class, okay? And every time he kicked down the door, he got a natural 20, even killed 2 orcs waiting on the other side.
Oh my
awesome.
god.
I know that in one of the Penny Arcade podcasts, they had like the big strong barbarian guy just bust through the wall like the Kool-Aid man and killed the lizard man on the other side. And because he was like a big dumb barbarian, like he bursts through and he looks down and he goes like, "Oh, sorry buddy," and he like picks him up and like puts him on his feet, and he's like, he literally bursts through and goes, "Oh yeah!" It was amazing. Mike, please make Q&A sessions a recurring thing. So awesome, cheers. So the plan is, if we ever got people down, and we don't have enough numbers to do a regular game, like generally my rule is as long as we've got 3 players or 4 players, I'm okay with it. I'll do a Q&A session. How about that? Leonard Euler, you have finally recognized me. I am honored. We are honored by your mathematics, Leonhard Euler.
I'm so bad at maths.
All right, I think that's it. I can read some of these.
Okay.
We've got
15 minutes.
15 minutes, or 20 minutes. I'll do 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Right, so I did the first one on Reddit, which was from Delta Cascodian. This is from Yoda97. This is 3 questions. What was your first experience with D&D and how long ago? For me, this would have been when I was about 16. Me and my friends went into the local comic store and they had the 3rd edition starter set. We pulled our money that we had together because it was about 20 quid. We all bought it. I think I chipped in the most. I think I put in like 8 quid, so I got to keep it at my house. We went home. I learned the rules while they were like doing something like eating pizza or something, and we played, and that was and we played, and that group of friends, they were my closest school friends, Harry, Dave, and Jack, and all these guys, and we played every day. From that point on, we pretty much played every day at night. We went to our mate Dave's house or my house, and we played D&D. We played it all through sixth form. We played it just all the time, and it was great, and I loved it, and that was a long time ago. That was like almost 15 years ago.
I really love that old school kind of like friends pooling together to buy something. So in my case it was SNES games, but the person who puts in the most
gets the game.
Gets
yeah,
it.
but anybody can come over at any time.
Yeah.
Whereas like I used to be really bad when I was in school. I would get money from my mum, like I think it was like 2 quid every day to buy food, right? Being the teenager, I was like, I don't need food. I've got a really good metabolism.
I have D&D.
My lunch was I would buy a 50p can of Coke and a 30p Mars bar. Oh no, 30p Mars bar. That was my lunch.
Yeah.
The £1.20 that I saved, I would save every day. And so at the end of the week, I had 6 quid, which was mine.
Which is rich when you're a kid.
Yeah, it was great. And so we'd go buy magic cards or comics, but yeah, we like saved up or go spend it in the arcades because I lived on a seaside town.
Yeah.
And yeah, we bought D&D and yeah, we played that and it was great.
I used to buy a cucumber sandwich because like you had to buy for like the salad bar or whatever, and they'd charge you for however much you took. So I would just like make bread cucumber sandwich, which is like what 20p, and then I would spend all my money at a sweet shop that was on the way home from school.
It's the way to do it. It's the way to do it. I believe, so this is also from you, I believe I heard you mention that you played a game with Matt Mercer as a DM. Could you tell us a little bit about it? I can, yes. I went over to LA for Anime Expo, and we stayed there a few days to hang out, and Matt's a good friend of mine, and he just happened to say, like, hey, I'm going to run a D&D game, like a one-shot, do you want to play? I was like, sure. So it was me and an ex-girlfriend at the time. We won't go into that. But yeah, we played that. He did this really cool, creepy, very Cthulhu-esque D&D game. I played a dwarven cleric. I can't remember his name because it was a one-shot, but I did kick a lot of ass. It was really good, and it was really fun. There was a druid. We played with a girl called Kat who played a druid who turned into a sugar glider squirrel.
Oh my god.
There was an alchemist Noel who couldn't speak common, and a very hairy wizard, if I remember. It was great. We had a really good time. I ran a game for Matt as well. He came over to the UK, and I ran in exchange. I ran a one-shot game for him and a couple of friends who had never played D&D before. And again, we had a really good laugh. It involved, it was like a haunted forest, and at the very end of it, there was this tree, and there was these villagers who were like, their souls were being siphoned, and they had to try and free the villagers quickly, and then they were being attacked by loads of stuff. It was great. It was a good game.
Do you think we could ever get him on this stream?
I don't want to say too much. I've heard rumour he might be coming to the UK soon, and I am definitely going to try and get him to come. Him and Marisha, I'd love to have on as guests. I'd love to have the whole Critical Role cast on.
Look who's in the chat, yo.
Who's that? I can't see.
Lil No
Oh,
One.
hey, Katie. What you doing?
Should you be at a wedding?
Shouldn't you be? No, I think they're on the airport.
Done.
Yeah, I think they're in the airport on the way back.
Shouldn't you be catching a flight?
Hey. So, third question from Yoda. What sort of guests should we expect on the show? Would they be in the form of other Yogs or perhaps other folks, i.e. friends from outside? Already answered this. It's going to be a mix. Yogs, people outside the Yogs, whoever really wants to play. From Yami Chip, this is also on Reddit. How much material do you usually have prepped for a single session? How do I not spend 10 hours writing material that never see the light of day? Kind of answered that one again. The same thing is, I look at, like, at the end of every session, I want to know exactly what the guys are going to do next time. I plan for that. Normally about 3, 4, 5 pages of stuff, and it will all be bullet points. It'll be like, if they go here, bullet points. Here's some monster stats. That's it. Easiest way to do it, and then just have a campaign doc or a folder which has just got a little bit of information about every single location nearby, just like a couple of bullet points. Easiest way to do it. Question 2. In campaigns where I was a player, my party always loved going off book and essentially leaving our DM in the dust. How do I keep my plot side quests flexible enough to let players find them without exceeding? This is again the thing I answered next time. Just reskin stuff. Like, you've got a goblin cave, it suddenly becomes a forest full of evil elves. You know, whatever you want to do, just reskin it. And just do it that way. So, easiest thing to do on that. Sorry if these are a bit quick, I just want to try and get through loads in the 10 minutes we have left. Some of my players are D&D virgins. Any tip on how to introduce them without excessive hand-holding while keep it interesting for the veterans? Do you know what? I'd say don't hand-hold them at all.
Yeah.
New players will do stuff you will not fucking expect. They will surprise you. They will turn around and be like, well, why can't I just lock this door? And you'd be like, shit, I didn't think of that. Yeah,
Damn it,
you can.
Newbie!
And they've done it. And the experience of players will be like, they'll be there like, right, I'm going to ready myself for when the orcs come through the door, and I'm going to prepare my spell that I know and all this. And then the new player's like, I push the bookcase in front of the door and I leave. And you're like, oh, yeah, that's
Crap.
a good idea. So I would say don't handhold them at all. They should be fine. Like, if they do need a little bit, it's only going to be on the rules. And the best way to do that is spend some time with them beforehand. Just if they've got any questions, ask about it. Run them through the basics. Make sure that at any point in the game they can say, Mark, or DM, what do I do? How do I do it?
Well, that's
why I
the
always
thing
try and
is,
encourage with you
you
guys.
definitely make it comfortable enough if there's something we don't understand. We go, player Kim asking here, how does this work? And you've been really good at kind of concisely doing it.
Yeah.
And also, I find I learn by doing it. So Mark, bless him, could tell me how about all the stats on my thing beforehand, but it wouldn't sink in for me unless we were actually in the situation and I got it like by rolling whatever.
Dead Planet asks, who has been your favourite personal player character in D&D, and can you tell us a bit about them? Oh, man. Hiya. No, I'm trying to think, like, I had a lot of really fun characters. There was one that I played this really moody elf assassin called Void, who had sold his soul. It was very angsty. He'd sold his soul to get, like, a magic weapon to make him, like, a better assassin, and I remember it was so dumb. He literally entered the session by like breaking through a window, like intimidating all these guards to run away. And then like 20 minutes later, a beholder comes up through the floor and turns him to stone. And I was like, fuck. And I just had to play a new character. But I think my favorite one, I played him very recently. There was 2 characters I played recently when I was back in Brighton. One was, you'll like this. His full name was Benedict Cabbage Patch. He was a halfling fighter who had a Somerset accent. He was like, hello, I'm Benedict, but all my friends call me Benny. And his name was Benny. He was super happy-go-lucky. He was dumb as fucking rocks. But he was just so cheerful and chipper and absent-minded, and he would say the wrong things at the wrong time. But he wasn't like uncharismatic. He was quite charming. He was nice. But he would just be like, he'd do things like, Oh, Mr. Cobblepot, they said that they're looking for a gnome in there. You're not the gnome they're looking for, are you? And like he'd be like, Benny, and do stuff like that. And I loved Benny, and unfortunately he met at the end a red dragon, but he was a great character and I loved him. The other one was, so here's the thing you don't know about me, I play a lot of female characters because it's fucking D&D, I'm bored of being a dude. Sometimes I want to be a lady. So I played, one of my favorite characters I played was not Vixanis, what was her name? Shit. I can't remember her name. Oh man, my memory's really bad. But she was a drow who had grown up in the streets on her own. She wasn't like a goody two-shoes drow, but she also wasn't an evil, crazy drow. And she was a wild sorcerer who was basically like the proper street urchin thief. So she did everything about self-survival. She wasn't evil, but she would be like, I turn invisible and hide. Like, fuck you guys. Like, I'm not fucking killing a dragon. Like, and do stuff like that. And she was great fun to play because it was so different to what I normally do. Like, I normally play good guys, like very heroic characters. And playing somebody who was a little bit selfish, but she warmed up over time and she risked herself for her friends, but not for anybody else. Like, if it was a stranger, she'd be like, have fun with that. I'm going this way.
So kind of like Juto, but on the other side of like the shyness spectrum.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of my favorite characters. I'm guessing yours is Juto. Obviously. Don't say anything else.
Yeah.
Juto. So that would make me feel bad. Galistan on Reddit. How exactly do you build encounters? Are there any sorts of guidelines that you follow when building a fight? I've got a decent idea of how much XP monsters give and how that translates into encounter difficulty, but I'd appreciate any thoughts you have on the subject. So yeah, in the DMG there are tables for working out based on the amount of PCs you have and their level, and then the number of monsters in encounter and their XP values. There is like modifiers and multipliers and all that kind of stuff. It is all in the DMG. use that as a basis, but generally know your group. Like, our group, there are no tanks. There is only a sort of healer.
Yeah.
I balance much around that. I don't throw many hard or difficult encounters at them. I tend to keep them at the medium to easy level because they are challenging enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're just like, yeah.
Well, with Trell, just like he takes 2 hits and
he's
gone.
a glass cannon.
And,
Trell is
like, yeah.
absolutely, he does a lot of damage, but he goes down really quick.
And then we have to spend time saving him.
And you don't have like a heavy armor wearing fighter who comes in and protects you. That's Elora, who's a bear and is easy to hit, you know, and who hates being hit. I love Katie throws the best tantrums when she gets hit. She'll just like the gif of her doing like the I love it because it's just like, you're a bear. Like, it's fine. So that makes me laugh. But yeah, like, just know your group. The guide in the DMG is pretty good. Just use it. I can't remember what page it's on, but it's in there. Sorry, I can't be a bit more specific on that one. Guru Gratavis. I can't pronounce these names. On Reddit, I'm curious on your preferred method of determining ability scores for your players in your campaigns. Rolling 3d6 6 times, 46 drop the lowest, point buy or something else. We do 46, drop the lowest one. So the reason I do that is because I feel it has a more fair average. 3d6 is really fucking harsh. Like, you will have shit stats. 46 drop the lowest just gives you better odds to get good average or well stats. I think like nobody in our group, apart Trell and Torwin, have the best stats.
Yeah, Torwin's
lucky.
stats. Jesus wept.
Yeah, but then even then, like, you're talking like 2 16s and a few other things. Like, it wasn't crazy good, you know?
Yeah.
So that's my one. What are the chosen backgrounds of the party of high rollers? If you feel this would reveal too much and be better served as a reveal for later, that's perfectly fine. No, that's fine. I don't think it's too much of a thing. So the backgrounds is Juto was a folk hero because of the rescuing
tieflings, so she's a folk
hero. Trelemar is an acolyte because he was an acolyte in the temple in the Underdark before his adventuring life began. I won't go into that too much because that is some story stuff. Elora's backstory is Outlander because she obviously grew up in the forest. It's more noble as well. Like, I've kind of mishmashed the two because she is also the daughter of like the king of the Spire. So, and then Cam it's a custom background I found online, and it is just called Gypsy. It's based on like historical Romani gypsies, traveling kind of musicians and traders and that sort of thing. And it's all very much about the family and picking up skills as he went along and stuff like that. Frodo0201, I have a question. Do you have any tips for someone who wants to start D&D in general and DMing but has no idea where to start? I've seen this question comes up quite a bit.
Yeah, the next one's pretty similar
Exactly.
as well. Yeah.
So get yourself a group of friends. If you're going to be playing in real life, buy the D&D starter set. It comes with everything you need: dice, character sheets, adventure. It's a really good adventure as well. It really takes you through it. Buy that and run it. Honestly, just learn by doing. It's the simplest way to do it. I don't recommend trying to write your own campaigns or create your own worlds because that's a big step up. Go with the pre-published material. It's really good. It's there to help you. It's there to ease you into it. So use that. So check that out. And just do that. If you're playing online, you can download the basic rules for D&D for free from the Wizards website. I'd still recommend picking up the starter set because it's really good, but Roll20 has a lot of really good newbie groups. Join those as a player, see how you get on, and go with that as well. Sorry, that's a bit of a light question, but yeah, the starter set really is the best way to do it because it will teach you. It doesn't overwhelm you with options as well. Like the player's handbook, like there's 12 classes. The starter set gives you 5. Like it just pre-creates the characters. It doesn't try and overwhelm you. Yeah. So I don't recommend.
Starter set for a reason.
Exactly. Lit Red Dead from Reddit. What should a DM do with a really close friend who loves overpowered characters to the point of using Mary Sue abilities to keep them alive? It's a tricky one. This all comes down to personal stuff. I've never had this problem, but the advice I've always seen other DMs give is talk to the player and just say, look, man, you can't, these abilities don't work this way, or you can't have this, or blah, 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 or actually, to be honest, dude, you're kind of ruining the game. We need to work something out. Be honest. It's a social thing. You've got to be able to talk to your friends. You know.
What does Mary Sue mean? Mary
Sue is somebody. It's Mary Sue normally for a female character, or Larry Stu for a male character. It's basically a self-insert, so they are just basically playing an amazing version of themselves.
Right.
So like authors, it's kind of like a literary criticism of like main characters who are just too good at everything. There used to be a lot of thing of like Hermione was a Mary Sue, but it kind of like got debunked because actually she's very flawed as a character.
Yeah.
Larry Stu's don't have a lot of flaws. They're normally completely flawless.
Like,
they're perfect. Yeah. They're like, I'm the best magician in the world, and I can fight with a sword, and I'm super irresistible to women, and all this kind of stuff. They don't have any flaws.
Anything
whatsoever.
wrong with them? Okay.
Yeah, so that's the kind of term it means. Any tips for a one-on-one session? Keep it short. Hopefully this one kind of gave you an idea. No more than 40 minutes to an hour. Definitely no more. You can't sustain it. Keep combat light and quick. Don't have more than like 1 or 2 enemies to fight at the same time because it can go badly very quickly. Focus it more on character interaction and story. Make it a lot of talking. It's not a bad thing if it's a lot of the DM talking and the player responding or asking questions. That's not a bad thing in a solo. That's actually quite good because it builds up stuff. What limits and rules should one follow for a homebrew world that doesn't use D&D lore but is still compatible with D&D mechanics? I wouldn't say there are any, really. Like, the Lightfall campaign is a completely homebrew world. I have kept some of the D&D gods, but I was originally just going to create my own pantheon. It was going to have its own gods that I've created. But I just, you know what? I went, I can't be bothered and it's going to be too confusing for new players, so I'm just going to use the D&D ones. But yeah, I think, like, you don't even really need to limit yourself. You know, just go with what feels right. The DMG's got loads of good advice on this. Sorry, I can't give a more complex answer on that one. Alloy Morph from Reddit. I've been told that when preparing to start a brand new campaign, the DM should discuss character backstories one-to-one with each player, so as to establish any secrets the character has as canon before the players introduce themselves. My question, how far does this discussion extend to the rules and mechanics for each character? Are there strict classes to choose from? Can you make custom classes based on how much strength, dex, intelligence their main weapons require? Are all of the available spells preset as lore constraints, i.e. there is no knowledge in the world of anything besides these spells, or can you legitimately write original spell abilities as long as the two of you agree on their balance? Answer to all of those questions is yes, you absolutely can. Creating your own spells, creating your own classes, creating your own abilities, just reskinning a class like Draz's Warlock. Like, I'm going to play a Warlock, but I don't want to cast magic. I want it to be technology. Great. Just figure it out between you. And yeah, I do agree, talking one-on-one with each player about their character backstory is great. It helps you establish plot hooks. The one thing I like to do is have them tell you their backstory, but not everything in their backstory has to be true. Like, you can play with it a little bit because you don't want them to know everything. You know, the character's backstory should be it from their perspective. You know, there should always be things that are perhaps unknown to the player, even about their past.
Well, there's just little touches as well. Like, I asked if I could have a Guandao because I didn't see it in the book.
Yeah.
And you went, yeah, it's going to be a quarterstaff, but you can totally have a Guandao.
Yeah, and that way it still works as a monk weapon for your abilities, and also it's not overpowered because I know the damage is legit. You know, in terms of creating new weapons, go for it. Like, if you want to have a weapon which is intelligence-based rather than strength or dex, and have it like, you know, it's some sort of crazy contraption that the person has to like wind up gears and stuff to use, go for it. Just cool, as long as it's balanced, you know. And I would say don't just agree it one-on-one with the player who's involved. Try and discuss it with the group as well. Like, just make sure they're cool with it and it's not going to ruin any other character
It's a group experience, so, you know, just manage your group. And
I highly recommend, whenever creating characters, do it as a group session. We couldn't for ours, unfortunately, because of timing, but I would have loved to have all 4 of you in a room. Everybody makes their characters at once. One cool thing that I used to do with other groups is I have like a little sheet of paper, and it's got 3 questions about the character. Like, who are your enemies, where are you from, who are your allies, and stuff like that. And then the next bit would be like, pick another member of the group, how do you know them and why? And that meant that every character in the group has a connection to each other. It's very good. We were quite lucky in that the way I was going to start the campaign kind of forced them together, but I would generally advise have the party at least know one other person, so there's a reason for them to adventure together. My favourite name, LeBron's Flames, from Reddit. Which version of D&D is easiest for noobs like us? From what I gather, 5 is a bit easier than 3.5, but I could be wrong, or is there another system entirely that could be easier for us? I'm biased. 5th edition is the best. It's really simple. It's simplified the mechanics since 3.5. 3.5 is a mess, to be honest. 4th edition is a bit too video gamey. 5th edition is the perfect blend of tabletop RPG, but still It's got enough rules to learn and have a structure. It's not so freeform that you're going to be like, oh, I don't know what to do. But at the same time, it's still open enough that you can create interesting characters. So that's what I suggest, but I'm a 5e fanboy, so...
Is it easier as well to maybe follow 5 because it's the current one,
current
so
one?
there's a
No,
lot more like
absolutely.
information about it
Well,
and places you can talk to about
absolutely. Like there's the D&D Reddit and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's the other thing as well. Is like it's current, so there's loads of people talking about it. Right. Oh,
it.
gosh.
Trumpet Samurai.
Yeah, I'm gonna read that one. I'm just trying to think how many of these I'm gonna get through. Trumpet Samurai, what are your thoughts on the new races and spells from Wizards of the Coast added recently? And 2, what are your opinions on homebrew stuff? Well, the second one is, I love it because this whole campaign is homebrew. I've made a homebrew race, I've made homebrew spells, I've done homebrew monsters, I've made a homebrew world. Homebrew is my favourite thing to do. I love the established campaign settings. The Forgotten Realms is really cool. Eberron, oh my god, I love Eberron. I love it, but creating your own world is really satisfying, and it really opens up creativity as well. Like for somebody who's got a big imagination, it's a real chance to go buck-ass wild. Buck-ass wild. What are your thoughts on the new races and spells? If this is the Elemental Evil stuff, I don't know anything else. I only know the Elemental Evil stuff. I like it. I think it's pretty cool. Genocide cool. Alakoka are a bit weird. Birdmen. But sure, why not? Goliaths are cool. The spells all seem pretty cool as well. Yeah, I'm all good with it. In terms of, as a DM, would you allow someone... Oh, this is a third question as well. As a DM, would you allow someone to use a race not in the book as long as it isn't broken? Yeah, but I'd probably make the rules for it. I wouldn't just let them use stats from the monster manual. I'd go, yeah, you can absolutely play a werewolf, but I'm going to give you different stats. Like, I'm going to make you new stats because I want to make sure it's balanced. Yeah. And the way that I do that is I just look at the player's handbook and I go, okay... Werewolf, it'd kind of be like a half-orc maybe, but maybe instead of strength they get dex. Yeah, I just adjust one of the... Or I'd look at them for inspiration. So I'd like take some of the stats of them and see if I can blend them in. I'm going to have to answer all of the other Reddit and Twitter questions on Reddit and Twitter because, frankly, we need to go. My throat's going because I've spoken a lot more than I normally do. I feel like...
empty, like a husk.
Man, I just like my throat's going, speaking so quickly. But yeah, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed this Q&A. Thank you so much for all the donations. I'm going to read 2 more. So, negligent money. I've shamed myself for insulting the GM god. Now just an excuse to give you guys more money. I only wish I could do more than give money. Last donation for me. Love hearing all the great stories tonight and wish you all a good night. Thank you very much. And then play Safety Dance. Is the special Safety Dance donation alert thingy up and running yet? I have no idea. Maybe that's something with Barry and Sam, I'm afraid, dude. But yeah. Oh, that was crazy.
Emotional.
That was emotional.
Again.
There were so many more questions and more donations. There was a lot more donations than I was expecting as well. Christ.
Jeez.
Thank you so much, guys. I'm sorry that this has been a bit of a, like, we had the short story stuff, but it's mainly been a Q&A. We'll be back on form next week, although sadly, Kim...
I am not here, although that could work out well because I don't think they're gonna...
I think you'll be at the very end.
Yeah?
It depends on how much they get done.
God, I really want to be there for that. I just...
Well, maybe we can hold it off until the week after.
Because I'm back the week after.
Yeah, alright. Well,
I tried to get a flight back sooner, but it turns out the flight back sooner is like 5 in the morning, and I love you guys, but not that much.
Yeah, yeah, so we'll figure that out. But yeah, so join us next week. We'll be back into adventures. We'll be finding out what happens in the Elven Spire and the Orcs and all that kind of good stuff, and see... Excuse me, if the players can bring back Juto. And that's it for this week. As always, sorry for no fan art this week because we didn't get to do the video and I didn't want to just do a crappy slideshow. So we're just going to add all of the fan art to next week. So we'll play that in the break.
Bigger video.
Even bigger video. We're going to sort a few things out. As always, if you'd like to donate... no, not donate. What am I talking about? If you'd like to follow us on Twitter, you can follow the @HighRollersDND. And you can also go to our subreddit, which is r/r/ High Rollers DND as well. Same as the Twitter one. Definitely big shout out to Wizards of the Coast. Thank you again for all the cool stuff. Check out their stream. I'm going to tweet it. It's on Tuesdays on the Wizards of the Coast Twitch channel. If you search for it, I'm sure you'll find it. And also check out the guys over in Critical Role because they've been giving us a lot of love in the various panels and stuff as well. And that's on Thursdays on the Geek and Sundry Twitch channel. And also check out all the other Yog streams as well. Like you've got Rithian and Duncan on Mondays, Hat Films on Tuesdays, Martin on Wednesdays, Board Meeting on Thursdays, Hannah and Shin on Fridays, Zoe and Fiona and Nilesy on Saturdays, and then we're on Sundays. So check out all of those as well.
Nice memory, dude.
Boom! I've written that schedule so many times, it's ingrained in my brain. But yeah, thank you guys, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye! Bye.
Bye.